Are we there? We're there. I guess. What's my Twitch doing? Yeah, okay. Hello. No, please, please don't. Don't. Nah. Thank you very much. Let me get my bearings. Okay, everything is fine. It's looking okay. Hope you can hear me. You can hear the game. Seagulls are a little low, but I think that's how they usually are. Okay, okay. Right. Where did we leave off? Did I make a save? Yes. We were, yeah, in the question marks. Okay. Battler now knows. Yeah. Okay. It's coming back to me. Thank you, Tessa. Hi, Bea. Hi, Rismod. Hi, everyone. I saw your little chat in the waiting room earlier. I'm so sorry. I am absolutely terrible. I started earlier today. I still was late. I give up. Yeah. I'm so sorry. More Umi Pain or Umi Peak? Oof. Hi, Super Paper. Hi, Patch. What a disgrace you are. Yeah, sure. Okay, great. There you go. What an amazing line to start the stream with. Okay. The rodent greets us. It seems so. Just then, Battler's chest. No. The red longsword impaling Battler began to shine gold from deep within his chest. Okay. What does that mean? That bright golden light began to change the red sword's color, turning it gold.
Nanigoto? Battler ga... これは... Nani?
Battler coughed up blood and groaned. His consciousness came back. His will to live, his will to fight came back. The red longsword impaling Battler could no longer be described as such. By now it had become a golden longsword. Then, slowly, it pulled itself out of Battler's chest. After it had finally pulled itself out of Battler completely, it flipped through the air and stuck upright into the ground in front of Battler's eyes as though it knew who its master was. What? Battler, crawling on the floor and moaning, grabbed the golden longsword, and though it looked painful, he slowly rose to his feet once again. New gear, okay. Lambda stared wide-eyed at that bright golden glow in awe. Noticing that Battler's resurrection wasn't part of a script Lambda had thought up, Byrne also frowned slightly.
悪いわね。最新は却下よ。シエスタ姉妹。その復活幻想を削除しなさい。了解であります。45、410、発砲許可。それが。照準不能。IF エラーコード999。ヒュー。39だと。バカな。
The Chiester sisters hesitated, unable to carry out Berncastle's orders.
ラムダ、これはどういう茶番よ。完全に魔女幻想は打ち破られて、法廷は私の勝利に終わったはずよ。悪いわね、ベル。もう少し付き合ってもらうわ。
そうでしょ、後ろ宮バトラ。
Lambda doesn't seem too upset about this.
任せたな、エリカ、ベルン・カステル。今度は俺の真実の番だぜ。
再審請求を受理するわ。魔女集会の幻想法廷の閉廷は撤回される。
異議提出。すでに裁判は結審し、判決は公示されている。
異議却下。
Don't toy with my heart, Banjo. I'm not expecting anything other than just an egregiously slow drip of hints, at best, as it's been so far. So no. Battler Farm 5 episodes for this rarest drop sword completely free to play. Oh, man. Ay, ay, ay. Hi, Baron. Hi, hi. Hey, Tostaters. Yeah, here we are. Here we are.
いかなる判決も新たな真実の前にはかすむ。
異議提出。バトラはプレイヤーを追放されただけでなく、魔女の地位を持たない、上告する資格を持たない。
異議却下。もうね、あるのよ彼には。絶対の魔女ラムダデルタの名において認めるわ。後ろ宮バトラ、あなたを新たな黄金の魔女。
Okay, everyone turns into the Golden Witch sooner or later, it seems. Like, what the heck?
いえ、無限の魔術師後ろ宮バトラと認めるわ。
Endless sorcerer. Okay.
なんですって。バトラが。
Not that it doesn't sound badass, but the rank of a witch, which she had desired for so long, had been granted to Battler so quickly. Battler Beatrice, almost. And on top of that, this wasn't anything temporary. This was an official proper authorization by Lambda Delta. I love when Umineko is just a shot. True that, true that. Erika couldn't accept it and her face turned bright red. Bear battle.
最後の最後まで楽しませてくれるわ。あの子のゲームは。
Yeah, yeah, Bern is very happy right now.
付き合ってあげる。エリカ、受けて立ちなさい。あなたが私と築き上げた赤き真実は完璧よ。夏日が犯人であるとする真実の構築は完璧だわ。絶対にバトラには崩せない。無論です、若主。何の心配もありません。それよりシエスタ姉妹、我が主は射殺を命じていますよ。
Okay, good luck.
いつになったら命令は実行されるんですか？
エラーコード39。領主照準には解除コードが必要です。だからあいつはやると言ったに。
領主？誰が？このかけらの支配者は誰？私です。領主、まさかバトラが。
What does that even mean?
後ろ宮バトラはこのかけらに正当な領主と認定されているであります。
そうよ。まだわからないの？あの黄金の輝きの意味が。バトラはね、至ったのよ。すべての真実の最新王にね。だからバトラは今やこの世界の物語のゲームのすべてを理解している。
Look at me, I'm the dungeon master. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
それはつまりゲームの支配者の地位を得たということよ。それを信じたくないでしょベルン。
Okay. Wink back at you, Dezo. I have no idea what that means. It's fine.
信じたくもない。いいわ。バトラが本当に全てを理解したのか試してあげるわ。エリカ。
残念ねエリカ。せっかくこのかけらの領主に任命されたところだけれど、それを剥奪するわ。このかけらの新しい領主は後ろ宮バトラよ。悔しい？ねえねえ悔しい？せっかく領主になれたのにいきなり剥奪ってどんな気持ち？どんな気持ち？
Excuse me, only Beto has the right to yell like that. She had the title for today. Erika here looks like a kid whose mother forced her to get into competitive sports because her mother forced her to. Yes, pretty much. Yeah, it's that repetitive, vicious cycle. And things are not going their way, not at all. You think, but yes.
私の推理を否定できるものならしてみればいいでしょ。そんなことは不可能。不可。
Almost don't recognize her voice. she's that oh my god, impacted by this. Jesus Christ.
私の構築した推理に隙はありません。夏日が犯人であることは否定不能。
This.
俺は夏日おばさん以外が犯人である推理を構築できる。確かにお前の真実は否定不能かもしれない。ならば同時にお前の真実は俺の新しい真実も否定できない。
Battler spoke with the red truth allowed him by his status as a sorcerer.
夏日以外が犯人で？どうやって？ドラノール、バトラさんの妄言に付き合ってあげてください。
Slowly, Delanor stepped forwards. In her hand was the red longsword of the Decalogue. She also had the blue short sword. In Battler's hand was the golden longsword. The two rivals once again, no, for the first time, they truly confronted each other.
バトラー、待っていました。
Oh, hey there, welcome, welcome.
待たせたな。
いいえ。あなたの帰りは私の予想より早かったです。
殺しなさい。ドラノール A ノックス。
Alright, okay, let's go then. Delanor's form disappeared in an instant, as though her slow, dignified movements from before were only a lie. Yeah, she's great. I love her too. The trail drawn by the longsword of red truth burned itself into the retinas of those who saw it. Before anyone had enough time to follow that trail, it was already approaching Battler's chest.
エリカ卿の推理により第5のゲームは解決しました。 この推理による真実を覆す新事実は存在しません。
I know this is gonna be a weird statement, but I find it oddly cute the way she's holding the swords. It's just like a little kid who's just like excited that they get to play with and swing the things. I love her. She's adorable. Yeah, exactly like that, Bench. Exactly like that. Watch him just double down on small ball. I don't care as long as he does it in a badass way. I'm gonna love him. She found him as a McDonald's toy. Oh no, I can't. And they're plastic toy swords. Kids in the playground when they find a neat looking tree branch. Exactly that. Oh, I love her. Okay, let's go.
他の解釈で異なる真実の提示が可能だ。異なる真実の並列により両者の真贋を問う。
Oh, interesting take. In this closed-off world, it's possible for different truths to exist at the same time. Furthermore, as long as multiple truths exist, it's impossible to claim that any of the truths are the single truth. Oh. In other words, even if I can't overturn Erika's reasoning by questioning its credibility and conquering it, I can defeat it.
ベルンの推理は完璧よ。簡単には覆せない。でもね、ベルンの推理と互角の推理を提示できたなら、戦いは氷結となる。すなわち、いずれかの真実は打ち破られて、否定されることがあり得る。
笑わせる脚本だわ。悪魔の脚本はやはりこうでなくっちゃ。
では問いましょう。夏日以外の誰が犯人という仮説ですか？
Battler's golden longsword drew both red and blue trails at will.
夏日おばさんの告白した19年前の赤ん坊による復讐で構築可能だ。
Goda. Why is everyone obsessed with Goda?
Nox 第1条。犯人は物語当初の登場人物以外は禁ず。
But he is, isn't he?
第5のゲームより登場した人物に犯人は名乗れません。
Ah, okay. Well, I meant he's first mentioned in the beginning part of the fifth game.
その19年前の赤ん坊は最初から俺たちの中にいるとしたら。
Who put the bombs in the... Oh, Jesus Christ.
例えばそれが俺だとしたら。
Battler saying the quiet part out loud.
第8条。提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。あなたが19年前の赤ん坊であることを示す伏線はあったのですか？
Well, you could argue that there has been. We still have questions as to who actually Battler is.
第4のゲームにおける
There it is.
俺が母親アスムの息子でないとする赤き真実。第1のゲームおよび今回のゲームにおける親父の隠し事の気配。
He does say that to Battler in the very first episode, right? That they need to talk about something, so we can take that and spin it into this.
特に今回のゲームでは俺の生まれに何か事情があることをはっきり明示している。
Battler proposed that he might be the baby from 19 years ago, and announced that he would reconstruct the crime with himself as the culprit. And Delanor cautiously held her sword at the ready. As Delanor cautiously held her sword at the ready. She gauged the distance between them. Now that Battler had inherited the position of this world's territory lord and even attained the rank of Endless Sorcerer, his movements surpassed human understanding. By now, the physical distance between them probably counted for nothing, because their extremely agile battler battle. Now every time I see battle, my brain is battler. Because their extremely agile battle was surpassing the point where the concept of distance made any difference. Okay, I'm back, I'm here. Battler battling the battle. The battle of Battler, yes. Oh, Jesus Christ. Oh, there's something I really like about this. Okay, let's see how it goes. It has.
ああ、聞かせてやる。それでも説明がつくこと。
Well, what I pointed out earlier is that he doesn't need to provide the actual truth. He just needs to provide another alternative that can hold ground based on all of the rules that have been laid out. And then the authenticity of both is questioned. So I think he doesn't care that what he puts forward is the truth or not, as long as it works, and as long as it leads to Erika's truth being questioned. So, yeah, okay, I'm down for this. Let's go. Yeah. Alright.
夏日おばさんが犯人だと決めつけることはできないこと。
Oh, wow, that's so cool. Never has this been said with so much sarcasm.
あなたが犯人というならいくつもの矛盾が生じます。その矛盾があなたのか弱い真実を刈り取る。この私、探偵にして真実の魔女。
This time, Erika steps forward. Okay, let's see, Erika. Let's go. Alright. In her hand there appeared a scythe, like one a Grim Reaper might hold. A ruthless scythe for reaping everything that threatened her theory. I guess that's fitting.
犯行時刻は24時からの1時間しかありえない。
Yeah, I heavily disagree with that, but okay.
あなたはその1時間の間、屋敷の食堂にいます。
Dragon Ball Z? I don't know. I have not seen it.
よって犯行は不可能です。
Interesting, the mix of blue and red, and are we gonna add new colors in the future? I have a feeling that we will. Then it's gonna be a whole rainbow of truths. Great. They're super impractical weapons, but they're so cool. Yeah, they're cool, They work in video games, that's all that matters. Battler's face.
死亡時刻が24時からの1時間の間と特定はされていない。よって犯行は24時から午前1時までの間でなくとも可能だ。
Battler was Beatrice all along, Battler TJ. Who knows? You know, at this point. Oh my god. All of the colors of scythes and swords and orange truth is good.
いとこ部屋の殺人に限定します。午前1時から事件発覚までいとこ部屋での犯行は不可能です。ドラノール、今です。
Indigo truth.
ノックス第8時提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。いとこ部屋で実際に犯行が行われたなら手がかりが提示されなくてはなりません。それが朝まで室内の異常を監視していた探偵であるエリカ卿に与えられなかった以上犯行は不可能です。
You weren't in the room from 1 a.m. to morning. This is the thing that irks me. Like, they're glossing over things just to spin it in their own in their own favor, but she was there when she went to the room together with Battler at 3 a.m. So she wasn't... Okay, fine. Orange doesn't really hit hard until chapter 76 checkmate of the Kodami. The true message of Umineko is that there are as many truths as RGB values. Here, here, bunch. Me colorblind thinking yellow is green true. Ay, 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 pero.
事件発覚とは俺が悲鳴を上げて全員が集まった段階のことだ。そこまでに殺すことが不可能であってもそれ以降に殺すことが可能だ。
Oh, interesting. Oh, we're spinning it that way. Oh my god. Battler used a blue flash to deflect both of the red truths that Erika and Delanor had flung at him. Erika's eyes went wide. After all, what he had said was completely absurd. At that time, they still hadn't been killed, even though corpses were lying there with their necks sliced open. Battler using chessboard and fidget spinner, yeah.
魔女伝送のつもり？あの時点で死んでいたジョージたちを魔法概念で蘇らせたつもり？
なるほど。あの時点で死んでたと信じるお前にとっちゃ死者が蘇らされるみたいに見えるだろうな。ならこれはお前にとって魔法になるだろうぜ。
Okay.
ならお前に一矢報いるのは俺じゃない。
ほざて何度でも繰り返します。いとこ部屋の4人の死亡は赤き真実で宣告されている。そしてその遺体は大勢が確認しています。そして全ての死体は天使を誤らないとすでに赤き真実で宣言済みです。
Well, we've talked about that one.
これでも食らいやがれ死者どもめ。
Take that, dead people, die again. You know, oh.
その赤き真実が何時の時点でのものか。
That is a very good question. We've had this issue in the past. Everyone is joking, but I know one Umineko let's play with green and orange truth. What? Really? What do you mean? Did they just use different colors, or...? Vibing. Yes. Hello, Ronoe. The fierce shower of red was blocked by a magical barrier set up by Ronoe, who suddenly appeared right in front of Battler. Now that Beato was gone, the demons shouldn't have been able to manifest themselves in the real world. However, he existed here, and calmly dealt with Erika's attack. I'm braced. I'm braced.
どうやってここに？まあいいです。好都合です。探す手間が省けました。この場で捕らえて、あんたも存在否定してあげます。
譲るぜ。一つの傲慢なる真実で全てを支配などできないことを教えてやれ。
Yes, Your Majesty. では少しお相手しましょうか。どうぞお嬢さん。
I don't know what that
なら
means.
あの赤き真実の死亡宣告は何時の時点でのものだというのですか？
Oh, interesting. Okay. That's very cute.
それがあんたには特定できるって言うんですか？特定できない以上 事件発覚の時点での死亡宣告であることを否定はできません。
この法廷が改定した時、ラムダデルタ教は宣言しておりますよ。24時を迎えての答え合わせと。死亡宣告は2日目24時、すなわちゲーム終了時点のものです。そしてそれは事件発覚後と呼ばれる2日目朝以降の殺人を否定するものではありません。
My brain is like, what? Okay, I understand the first sentence. Alright. Okay. Okay, okay, I see.
では、あの時点で犠牲者は生きていたと。
I had forgotten that Lambda Delta had said that.
首がばっくりと裂かれているのに。
Yeah, me too. By Baron, it's fine.
それを探偵殿はご覧になられましたか。確かに全ての死体は誰であっても検視を誤ることはないとなっておりますが、死体でないものを死体と言っていけないとは言われておりませんもので。
Erika swung her sight recklessly, but Ronoe blocked everything with elegant gestures made with the shield on one of his hands.
じゃあ、あの時点では誰も死んでない？まさか首に傷さえない？だってじゃあどうしてマトラは悲鳴を上げたんです？
足元がお留守だわ、お嬢ちゃん。
Okay, that's green. Come on. What's happening?
すべてのゲーム開始時に後宮金蔵は死んでいる。
A pitch black hole opened beneath Erika's feet and swallowed her up. Ah, okay, it's for the... Okay, got it now. I remember now. For a moment I was like, what is this color? What did it mean? I forgot that the tips are highlighted like that. Okay, thank you. Now I'm calm. Am I seeing things? Did I miss something? Oh, wait. The truth as presented by the translators. Got it. Right, she could probably see through to the other side of the hall. It was the same thing you'd see if you looked down through the skylight on the ceiling of this cathedral.
Ria!
ええ。
Virgilia could already be seen in midair inside the cathedral. As Erika fell from the heavens, Virgilia was right below her and thrust upwards with her divine spear glowing blue.
あなたの推理も顧みるべきではありませんか。金蔵は存在しません。よってあなたの推理の遺体消失が破綻します。
道理です。金蔵以外の人物が遺体を消失させねば破綻します。
この程度で。
Vigilia's blue divine spear skewered and pinned Erika in midair. Erika struggled, filled with hatred, but she couldn't get it out easily. Then, all around her, several small fast things clanged off the walls and surrounded her. I mean, technically, the Virgilia from episode 3 also played friends with us back then. Technically speaking. 7 people manifested at
我
once.
らは煉獄の七姉妹主の敵思い知れこの文鎮風情がジョージは死後遺体は一切移動されていない
ジェシカは死後遺体は一切移動されていない。
マリアは死後遺体は一切移動されていない。ローザは死後遺体は一切移動されていない。ゲンジは死後遺体は一切移動されていない。クラウスは死後遺体は一切移動されていない。よって遺体発見後に遺体が消失することはありえない。貴様の推理、遺体は金蔵が運び出したは破綻する。だから何だってんですか。金蔵以外でだって死体の消失は説明でき。私が推理の修正をこの私が探偵が
Even with Kinzo's existence denied, Erika was probably capable of escaping this spin by making only a small revision to her theory. The problem a small revision to her theory brings is that it's a really big hole in her pride. So... I, for one, would never condone violence against Erika, however. Yeah. This novel makes you reconsider a lot of things. Yes. The rodent cheesed too close to the sun. Yeah. However, to her, having to revise a theory she had already created was extremely humiliating. Yeah, see?
夏日を追い詰めるためだけに策を浪しすぎたわね。
推理を遊びすぎましたな。金蔵の死を赤き真実で語れるのは今やあなたの主だけではありませんよ。
これが魔女の闇を遊んだ報いです。それを知りなさい、フルドエリカ。
Of course, even Erika had doubted Kinzo's existence from the beginning. However, in the trial that had taken place before, no one except Berncastle, as well as Lambda Delta, who was going along with her, had been capable of denying Kinzo's existence. And because of the willful silence of those two, she had been free to shape the truth about Kinzo in any way she desired. And then she went ahead to proclaim that her theory is perfect. Because it was standing on pillars of sand like that. Good, Erika, good! She never expected that Battler would become a witch, a sorcerer, capable of using red without proof. However, she had her own Inquisitor, who could also use red without proof to counter.
Delanor! Nox 第2条探偵方法に超自然能力の使用を禁ず。金蔵の死を赤き真実で示すならば、それを構築する人間の真実、証拠の提示を求めます。
許せ、クソじじい。
Yes, I remember that, Bear. I remember, yeah. That's what I mentioned earlier, that we've talked about this in the past. That's what I was referencing. Yeah, I guess so. There's some.
こえゆけバトラー、我がしかもわんね。
Let's go.
証拠提示。 後ろ宮金蔵と識別可能な遺体を提示する。
その遺体が後宮金蔵であると証明することはできますか？どれほど金蔵に酷似した遺体であろうとも当人であることを証明できない限り、第三者の身代わり死体であるとの主張が可能です。
Yeah, well. Bird created her as a clone of herself, or as a self-insert. And I guess she can then proceed however she wants, but that's like her hurting herself. So I'm like, sure, you do your thing, girl. If that's what it is, great, whatever. Yeah, Erika is not likable in the least.
それが金蔵の遺体であることを人間の真実で示せますか？本件のみ、赤き真実のみでの反論を無効とします。へえ、赤き真実での反論を無効？そんな思考もあるのね。
確かに第三者の死体が存在しないことはすでに赤で語られてる。
That was super paper.
しかし、それを赤で語ることを禁じられたらバトラのやつお手上げじゃない。
Me, a prophet? What? No.
そうだな。この閉ざされた六軒島ではこの死体がじい様のものだと示せる客観的な方法はない。
We still have the toes argument.
それこそはこの遺体が替え玉死体である可能性の示唆です。この身元不明遺体が金蔵の死を証明するものにはなり得ません。
チェックメイト。
And I can't help but laugh the way she's like, oh, this is it, I got it, checkmate. It's just... Erika is enjoyable for the same reason a Disney villain is. They're pure evil, they know it, and they play it up for the audience. I guess so. If you enjoy that kind of thing, sure. I like Delanor. I like that. I'm a simple girl. How can he objectively prove that it is Kinzo's corpse? How can I don't know. Like, the only thing that they were working with in the past was that abnormality in his toes, that it's like would be very difficult to reproduce, so it had to be him. But how do you prove that a corpse belongs to someone when you're just trapped on an island? You don't have any medical scientific training. I guess you're a sorcerer now, so maybe there's something that comes out of that. But no, I don't know. They'll perform a DNA test right here, right now. Sure. Dental records. They'll match dental records. I don't know this one. Mallory himself already said in Red that there's no way on Rokkenjima to objectively prove it, didn't he? Actually, I don't... maybe. There's been a lot of Red. But yeah, like, how can you? That would definitely narrow it down. It would make it less likely that you found a body double that has the same particularity. But that doesn't objectively definitively prove it. And I think that's what we were talking about. Delanor had sealed off the Red Truth as a means of proving that Kinzo's corpse had been shown. He's playing detective for this argument, yeah, I guess so. Even with the power of witches, Battler couldn't argue back.
赤き真実を封じられてどうやってその死体を金蔵だと証明するの？無理よ。
Are you gonna call Kinzo to testify that it's his own body? That's gonna be so messed up.
不可能だわ。
赤と青ならね。
Are we inventing another color? What's happening?
この死体が 後宮金蔵の死体であると保証する。
Then, when Delanor met with Battler's golden flash, she was unable to fully block it with either her red longsword or her blue short sword, and she was blown backwards into the air. It was a direct hit without any miscalculation, though she had always seemed as firm as a small giant before now. She was finally blasted away and slammed against the wall as though she was the slender girl she appeared to be. Okay, I do enjoy the confrontational aspect and the competitiveness, but like no violence against Delanor. She's a sweet little kid. I don't know anything. You're overestimating me.
ドラノール、あんた何やって。
見事な黄金の真実、有効です。
How is changing the color making it valid?
黄金の真実。
The golden longsword, which had been drawing red and blue trails before now, finally drew a trail which retained its divine golden color. The truth it showed was neither red nor blue. It was gold truth.
何それ、ラムダ、こんなのはルールにあるの？
ええ、黄金の真実、有効よ。黄金の真実はこの世界の領主、いえ、ゲームマスターにしか使えない。
なんですって。
黄金の真実、赤き真実とは異なる方法によって紡がれる。その力は赤き真実と同等です。時に劣るでしょう。しかし時に勝る。
Oh my gosh.
その輝きこそがバトラ君が本当にベアトを理解した証。
示したぜ。この死体がじい様であることを。
はい。黄金の真実、受理しました。
Yeah, pretty much. What is the gold truth? Another mystery. Oh,
エリカ教の推理は修正に応じぬ限り破綻します。
そんな。
Get the gold truth for the low price of being stuck in a near impossible riddle for 100+ hours. Answer arcs, yes, very much. Erika cried out in pain. It wasn't the pain of her body being impaled, it was the pain of her own theory being defiled. Ooh.
なるほど。
Gold everywhere, indeed, I was smart.
叙実トリックの寄せ集めかと思ったら、これはいつの間にか。とんだ傑作集だわ。
バトラー、それ以上語るは野暮に過ぎるわ。あんたの遺体消失の真実、もはやこれ以上語らずとも完全に理解させてもらったわ。なるほどね。あんたの考えてるそれはこれまでの法廷の全ての赤に矛盾しない19年前の男の復讐を軸にしたあんたの真実、その全て理解し受理したわ。あんたの真実の成立を宣言する。
そんな。どうしてですか、大ラムダデルタ卿。あいつはまだ全てを説明しきっていません。
Understood, but I don't get it. That's why it's in quotes.
秀吉の密室や夏日の自室の封印やクローゼットのボタンや、まだまだ他にも反論の手段が用意してあります。
あんたまだバトラーに反応できる気でいるの？
Only Erika, the one who was supposedly so intelligent, couldn't understand. She couldn't understand that Battler had already found the real truth.
以上により、じい様の不在は証明され、夏日おばさんのじい様をめぐる不
Oh my
明
god,
は
that
返
part.
上
Oh
される。
Jesus. I don't know if I will ever be able to overcome that moment. Just the sheer... no, thank you. Not even as a hypothesis, I don't want to hear it.
夏日おばさん、純潔にして停粛だ。
Oh, Battler.
貴様ら好みの下劣な物語は許さない。
バトラ君。
さらに、これまでの死者全員の死亡時間に疑義が生じる以上、夏日おばさん以外全員のアリバイは白紙に戻る。もはや夏日おばさん以外に犯行が不可能であるとの論法は通用しない。
Yeah, it makes me happy. Tumblr fanfic, oh god, no, please, no. Delanor, who must have risen to her knees at some point, slowly stood up. The flash from the golden longsword was still carved deep into her chest. Though pain didn't show in her expression, her awkward movements clearly showed how serious the damage she had taken was. Even though she herself knew that this spelled the total end of the match, Delanor didn't abandon her duty.
されどあなたはいとこ部屋にて5人不可能な遺体を確認されております。それが虚偽であったとおっしゃるのですか？
Since when are we putting questions in red truths? I'm so...
ノックス第7条探偵が犯人であることを禁ず。
But Battler has never been the detective.
探偵は客観的視点を義務付けられています。あなたの推理はこの義務に違反です。
探偵はフルドエリカだぜ。
Yeah.
今回の俺は探偵じゃない。そしてノックス第9条、観測者は自分の判断解釈を主張することが許される。
ノックス第8条提示されない手がかりでの解決を禁ず。これまでのあなたは探偵でした。
Yeah, the thing is, I personally did not perceive it as it having been established that Battler was a detective in the previous games. I had always proceeded and taking it with a pinch of salt, because yes, he is mainly the character through whose perspective we are seeing things, and yes, he does have these moments where he's trying to figure out what the heck is happening and thinking about it, but I don't think he was established as a detective in the pure classical sense of what a detective is and how Nox's Decalogue refers to it. So in my mind, he is exempt from that in all of the other games, but okay. That doesn't make me right, it's just how I perceive it.
そのあなたが今回は探偵でなく試験を交える観測者であったことは示されていたのですか？
But since when is this a red truth? I'm so confused now by the colors. Wouldn't this fit, like... When you're proposing something or asking a question, why is that said in red? Wouldn't that be blue? Alright, okay. We're operating under the rule of cool right now. The question can be read if the nature of the question itself is objective. Okay. Sure.
それがない限りあなたには主観を偽る権利はありません。
It's question, but cool. I guess.
俺は今回のゲームで非分の謎の仕掛けを解いた時、じい様を目撃している。すでに赤で示されている通り、じい様は存在しない。 その目撃は不可能だ。よって俺の視点に客観性がないことはすでに示されている。
Wow, what a phenomenal job. Completely. Oh wow, wow, this is it's cool on so many levels.
それは風雨になびくシートか何かをあなたが誤認しただけの可能性があります。ノックス第9条を示す伏線とはなり得ません。誤認は全ての観測者に許された権利です。
第4のゲームにてベアトが示した赤き真実、全ての人物は後宮金蔵を
Oh
見
yeah,
間
this
違わ
was
ない。
said. Yeah. It's the red truth Beato used to counter my blue truth claim that someone disguised themselves as grandfather, and thereby made it seem as though he had appeared. In other words, on this island, anything which might lead someone to visually mistake something for grandfather, including someone else pretending to be grandfather, cannot ever work. I mean, the lengths that he's going to discredit himself. Okay. I'm just in awe right now, alright. The scheme Aunt Natsuhi once put together to make it seem as though grandfather was alive only involved her saying things like he was here just a second ago or he is in his study alone now, cleverly exploiting the relatives' blind spots to pretend he was there. She never tried to make anyone mistake something they saw for grandfather himself, so there are no contradictions. If she had tried to dress one of the servants in grandfather's robe, it would probably have been seen through in an instant. It has been guaranteed that none of the characters in this tale would mistake something for grandfather by sight. Oh god, that sentence. It breaks my brain. But I love how he's making use of it in his advantage, when it used to be something that went against him in the past. Better culprit theory is broken for all games by the Vigilia I read from earlier this episode. But since that is not part of the trial, Battler can claim he was the culprit for the 5th game only as long as he can show he wasn't the detective for that game. Okay, I see what you mean. Battler has no PhD on Umineko. Yeah. Big brain Battler. Goda in the Kinzo robe, clearly the same. Oh lord. If someone still claims to have seen grandfather, it becomes a falsehood. Everyone is permitted the right to falsify their observations, but there is one person who does not have that right, the detective, I see. And that person is the detective.
風雨になびくシートを見間違え、それを何であったと誤認して語るのもノックス第9条の権利だ。しかしじい様だと誤認することだけは赤き真実において本ゲームでは許されていない。
金蔵を見たと主張された時点で誤認識ではなく、すなわち観測の客観性が否定されていることの証というわけですか。
Aw, thank you so much for dropping by. Take care, take care. And thank you for also taking the time later to check out the rest. In this case, unintentional misrecognition is not permitted by the rules of this game. However, it is possible to intentionally lie about seeing something you never saw. And that is an action not permitted to a detective burdened with the responsibility of an impartial perspective.
暴論を許せ。これで決着だぜ。
いいえ、いいのです。あなたのような男が世界にいてくれたなら、どのような傲慢からもか弱き真実を守ってくれたに違いない。
My heart! You would surely have protected the fragile truth from any kind of arrogance. Aww.
もっともらしい一つの真実がか弱き真実たちを駆逐し、唯一の真実であると語る横暴から本当の真実を守ってくれたに違いない。
Oh, my heart. Battler's golden longsword drew a massive blue arc as though splitting the
あな
heavens.
たと戦えてよかったです。
よって今回のゲームにおける俺の観測は第7条でなく第9条に基づく
So
じい
cool.
さまを見たと主張したことがその証だ。
The noise which rang out across the cathedral was the sound of Delanor's longsword clattering to the floor. Simply letting go of that was the same as resigning to the proud Delanor. Though the blue trail Battler had drawn was aiming right for the top of Delanor's head, it stopped a hair's breadth away. If it hadn't, Delanor would probably have been annihilated without leaving a single scrap of flesh behind. But Battler wouldn't do that.
Resign です。あなたの真実の否定を断念します。
借りは返した。お前の親父に敬意を。実戒は傲慢でも批判でもなかった。
父に敬意を。
Oh, that's so cute. Her voice is so cute. Delanor sat down on the floor and completely abandoned her will to fight.
何やってるんですか、ドラノール。情けない、みっともない。
She makes Erika tolerable and plays off Battler's protagonist energy so well. Yes, she does. She does that, doesn't she?
マルケナウスノの殺人人形。
Oh, Lord.
あんたは自分の父の名誉に泥を塗ったわ。それでもミステリーのくさび。魔法に屈するの。そんなのミステリーの歴史が許さない。
お前こそ何もミステリーを分かってないな。ミステリーが相手を知的に見下すための狂気にしか見えてないなら、お前に俺は二度とそれを語らせない。
Thank you, Battler.
バトラー。
お前に相反する真実を宣言する。夏代おばさんは19年前の男、すなわち俺によって内戦電話で脅迫されていたんだ。その目的は夏代おばさんを殺人犯に仕立て上げること。これは初めから夏代おばさんに濡れ衣を着せるための復讐劇だ。
All our best girls since the best girl cat box cannot be opened. Yes, that has been already established. Those daters. Everyone is a best girl. And front of the list is Battler. Yes, yes, she does. She does.
違います。夏日が仕組んだ後宮家への復讐劇です。あなたの推理は私と真っ向から相反します。
A drama of revenge. Oh, you poor soul. You sweet summer child.
お前のその青い槍、まだ抜けないのか。
そうね。
He's the bestest of girls.
エリカからはまだ金蔵以外の理由での遺体消失を聞いていないわ。あんたの推理は現在否定中だけれど、
こんな槍など。文人どもめ、邪魔な。
Paperweights, what? The deeply piercing blue spear and the 7 red stakes tormented her theory. They won't come out. They won't come out.
修正とエリカの推理の誤りを認めるわ。
Now Bird is acting all high and mighty.
そんな我が主。
Earlier you were converting everything that she wanted into red truths. What's happening now? Ah, yeah. Now I remember this. Thank you for reminding me. Yeah, I hadn't realized she was referring to them. Watching Erika's face contort with pain as she struggled to escape from the spear, Berncastle declared this with a disgusted expression. For all intents and purposes, it was as if Berncastle had acknowledged Erika's defeat herself. I started speaking in red above Ben. I guess that for his sake, even I can ascend to that level. He gives me magic powers. Best girl is the unknown person X. Yes, the bestest. With eyes of shock and despair, Erika looked up at the master who no longer had any confidence in her victory.
あんたのプライドなんて知ったことじゃないわ。いつまでその無様な姿を晒す気なの？私と同じ青い髪を許された分身がいつまでそこで貼り付けになっているつもり？
I disagree, those are completely different shades of blue. Burns is a little bit more purplish.
私自らがやはり降臨しなきゃダメなのかしら。やはり駒なんていらないわ。ああ、めんどくさいめんどくさい七めんどくさい。駒なんていらないわ。捨ててしまう。ああ、残念無念失望絶望期待外れの的外れ。早くしなさいよクズが。
Yeah, pretty much that, my bro.
お前のそのみっともない推理を修正しろって言ってんでしょ。はい、我が主修正いたします。我が推理を修正いたします。
All blue-haired characters belong to Burn. Okay. Oh my god, the hairs switched? Oh, Jesus Christ, I don't want to imagine that. They bought different brands of hair dye at the pharmacy. Oh no. Erika's face twisted in humiliation and tears streamed from her eyes. She withdrew and revised her own theory in accordance with her master's order. Mumbling quietly, she made various revisions with the blue truth, had them acknowledged by Lambda Delta, and finally had the blue spear smashed and was freed. Though that blue truth did indeed explain how the bodies had disappeared, it was truly shabby reasoning that reeked of desperation.
我が主、抜けました。我が推理は完璧です。
どこが？無様この上ないわ。でも許してあげる。あんたのその顔と推理がとっても情けなくて笑えるから。
Erika was taunted by her master, who wore an ugly expression. She thrashed about on the floor, crying bitter tears. The wounded Delanor stepped out before her, as though shielding her, and she spoke to Burncastle as well to Battler.
どれほどみすぼらしかろうと修正されたエリカ教の真実は有効です。
ああ、そうだ。俺の真実に関係なくお前の真実も同時に存在する。それがこの世界だ。誰にも否定できないから。いくつでもどんなに相互が矛盾してもそれらの真実は同時に存在できる。
Oh, yeah. Even now, Battler can't refute her truth. Yeah, I know. That's not what he was trying to do anyway.
ここでは想像の数だけ真実があっていいんだ。それを誰も一方的に否定してはならない。
はい、そうです。エリカ教の真実は私が誰にも否定させません。
ドラノール。
このドラノールある限りその真実をお守りいたします。どんなにみすぼらしくとも私はその真実を嘲笑いはしません。
I don't know if this is friendship. It is a very wholesome Delanor moment because it refers to all of the her value system and what she's fighting for and what she upholds, and definitely Erika's right to voice a theory if it's valid by the rules that have already been established is a right that she does have, and she should be allowed to have it. And that's what she is protecting, not necessarily Erika herself, who is I mean, Delanor herself described it as an agent of evil, so... Delanor sticking to her principles, yeah, exactly that. Those stages. The words of Delanor, whom Erika had previously looked down upon, led Erika to once again thrash about on the floor, sobbing.
そして、唯一の真実が存在しない限り、
Yep.
全ては闇の底だ。すなわち、俺の推理も、エリカの推理も、否定不能であると同時に、唯一の真実でもない、否定できないが、絶対でもない、あやふやなものだ。
No more Natsukinzo fanfics. Yes, I would very much appreciate that too. Please
確定し
spare
ない
me.
以上魔女幻想はまだ存在してる。それを暴くことが許されてるのはエリカでなければ貴様らだ。
That is Battler's thing. Any chance to give Delanor more credit, I will get a little like she deserves all the credit. She's awesome.
この俺だけだ。俺以外にベアトリーチェの魔女幻想は暴かせない。
Like so far, she's the only character that I would call absolutely pure in this game. I really like her.
判決を変更。後宮バトラの示した真実によりエリカの真実の唯一性は失われた。しかしエリカの真実は否定不能。よって2人の真実は並び立つ。第5のゲームの決着を撤回。ゲームはイーブンに戻るわ。
Yep, which is exactly what you were after.
そしてゲームマスターは私から黄金の魔術師後宮バトラに移る。後宮バトラ前へ。あんたを新しいゲームマスターに任命するわ。承諾するわよね。しなさい、新しい無限の魔女。
ああ、俺が新しいゲームマスターだ。第6のゲームは俺が紡ぐ。
Alright, that should be interesting. What the heck?
エリカ、今度こそ俺と決着をつけようじゃねえ
Oh
か。
no, we get more of her.
立て。
立ちますとも。
I'm sure they can only, like, we can only go up from here. This must have been rock bottom. Please tell me, because this was horrible. It was so painful. The pink goblin is eager to chain burn again. Of course she is.
この屈辱、話す機会を与えたことを後悔させましょう。我が主、第6のゲームにてもう一度バトラと戦う機会をお与えください。
Oh no, oh no, no. Oh no, this, I don't know if I want to know anymore. You had to hit rock bottom before Battler got his massive development and power up, of course. I mean, of course, this is how the novel has been thus far. Like, you go really low and then you go really high, and I'm expected after this high there's gonna be new lows. But I just hope it won't be as low as this. Please, please, like anything. I'll take anything. I would hope so, please, please. After you torture her a little bit, right?
あら、すごいわね。あなたがチャンスをあげるなんて。
Yeah. Before he had his when the OP starts playing in the show. Yeah. I understand that. Character development. I get it, I get it.
これって奇跡じゃないの？奇跡の魔女ベルンカステル？
エリカ、奇跡的にあなたは命拾いしたわ。第6のゲーム、バトラのゲーム。何としても暴きなさい。忘却の闇に捨てられたくなければね。
はい、我が主。 とドラノール。
無論です。次なるゲームにても全力を尽くします。
もう客人のふりはしません。私とドラノールであなたのゲームを引き裂いてみせます。
ああ、招待してやるぜ。俺の第6のゲームにな。悪いがタイトルはお前のつけたチェックメイト・オブ・ザではなくなるぜ。
あなたのゲームです。あなたが名付けるといいでしょう。その挑戦望むところです。
You were so glad that Eric and Delanor were immediately confirmed for the next episode. I guess they have to come in a package, and if I want Delanor, I have to tolerate Erica. I will do it. What can I do? What can I say? I have no choice. It's hard to choose between 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Episode 5 is all about the finale here. That's what most people remember, I think. Yeah, I wouldn't I wouldn't classify it as my favorites only based on the fact that Battler gets his OP moment. It's cool, but it doesn't overshadow just the torture that it has been. Of course, it's not that it's something that you could exclude. It's much needed, right? There was a lot of development and a lot of things that we were shown and explained, and it gave us the chance to consider and think about certain things in the new light. But no. So before this, my least liked episode had been 3. I think this goes even below that for me. Just no. I'm ready to move on.
私はフルドエリカ。魔女である以前に探偵。あなたがこのゲームの新たな支配者であることを認め、そして宣戦布告します。絶対に暴いてやる。黄金の魔術師後宮バトラー。
ああ、存分にかかってこい、フルドエリカ
Screaming. Just watch, Battle. I'll take charge of your game. And in this next game, I'll prove that I completely understand all of your riddles. Aww. Erika's face, Jesus. And now Battler has... Battler used to have blue background, right? But now he had the gold one. Right, let's see, what did I misenchant? I ranked 5 as worst because it was so long my first time. Okay. Better finding the truth is speak Umineko. I mean, great for him. All my thumbs up for him. After TJ is dead, we need another opponent. Yeah, I guess so. We can have some Delanor and Erica in episode 6 as a treat. What can go wrong with these two? With Erika, I don't know. We also had a great game board moment with Battler catching Princess Beatrice. Yes. It was a cool treat, I will give it that. Okay. That's not a mean curveball. I already had gathered that for some reason. I don't know what it was, but I had already been left with that impression. I think it's because someone I don't remember who exactly. Okay, I'm sorry. Someone in chat says something along the lines that there are people that have finished Umineko and understand it very, very well, but have no idea what happened with the knock and letter. And then that led me to conclude, very likely then, there's nothing explained about it afterwards. It's just goodbye, like a lot of other things have been in the past. And I'm like, okay, sure. Yeah, no worries, no worries. It's okay. It wasn't so much so much of a mean curveball as you thought it would be. So we're good, we're good. What was in here? We have the Decalogue here. Oh, okay, that's nice. Meanwhile, I picked it up from just going back in the VODs and clicking. I forgot it was in here. Right, I think we had seen these, no? Feet Unprotected. This is a reference to the line in Dragon Ball that achieved meme status in Japanese, spoken by Kami Hiroshen in a fight against Yamcha. Okay. I know nothing about Dragon Ball. Got it. Got it. Okay. Okay, Super Paper. They basically answered it during the finale. Okay. I mean, they basically explained all of Umineko so far, even before this episode, right? That's what you guys told me, that I have everything to understand it. But that doesn't mean... Because, see, this is something that I was saying the other day. If you give me a haystack and you have hidden a needle in it, have you given me a needle or have you given me a haystack? You can claim that I have the needle because it's in the haystack that I'm holding. But do I actually have it? Questionable, you know? Wait, no, I don't want you to play anything, please, please. No, I wanted to go to the characters. I wish I could stop that, but I have not found the option. We have execute and resurrect things here. We can do it on Kinzo. I mean, we have... Is there anything new that I should check? Yeah, Kraus went missing. Yeah, we know that. Is there anything new here? Because I think we have checked mostly everyone. I mean, there's been a lot here. I will get back to it, I guess. With a more refreshed mind. Right now, I'm kind of burnt out on thinking about Umineko in the past 2 days, so I don't know if anything connects anymore, because I've overthought it to oblivion. I love the Decalogue, it helps me so much when reading other stories. I see what you mean. It's like that, except there are several needles disguised as hay straws. You now have both, yeah, I guess so. There's actually not that much hay. Oh, okay. So I should be careful because I'm mostly holding needles then. I can make Delanor put on her glasses. What? Chain? Aww. Aww. But her face turns sad too when she puts on the glasses. Aww, cute. Cute. Who was the man from 19 years ago? I have no clue. It was me. Oh god, no, no, I'm not gonna do that. No, but I have no. Schrodinger's haystack, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. That's where we've gotten to. Yeah, we've read everyone here, I think. Oh, yeah, you mentioned something about their outfits. But mean, the stakes have basically the same outfit, they just copy-pasted. I'm not really sure what exactly you're referring to. I can see they're very skimpy, they're all very skimpy. I think we've read this, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, something about the Black Witch, yeah. State-of-the-art weapon. Added color to the sister's cavalry. Yeah, she had like a cool purple thing going on, yeah. She looks very cute. Yeah, this looks brutal, I guess. I mean, obviously their style is a little bit different, but they're still employing the same kind of bottom thing. They have like ribbons and stuff going on. I mean, I don't know if this is related to costume. The Chester sisters have the eagle, right, on their legs, but I don't know if that has... I don't know what significance that has. But I don't know what else I should be noticing about their costume. I don't know who the Black Witch is. I have no idea. Their outfits have exactly one element that is a hint about their vessels. Okay. Okay. Aside from bunny rabbits, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Anyway. If there isn't anything interesting to check in here, I guess we're cool. I don't want to leave her sad. I'll change that. There we go. At least a neutral face is better than sad Delanor. No, thank you. Yeah. All right. Rabbits coming up before in the plot. I'm not sure. I'm not sure I do. Right. And I guess next time we will start with anything else I should be checking in here? Characters, tips, keeper. Okay, we did everything, yeah? I wish I could find it for you, chat. I wish I could. Nothing would give me more satisfaction than to immediately piece everything together and to serve you with peak entertainment of my reactions to my own revelations. It would make me very happy, but it's not happening in this world, so I don't know. We either deal with it or I don't know what the way forward is there. I guess. For some reason I remember it. Sorry, I need to exit this. I will go to beginner mode because if there's nothing else to check in here, then it's all good. Where are we? Here. For some reason I have this memory of Maria referring to it as an evil witch possessing Rosa. But given the extent of my memory, I cannot say that black might not have been used in the past. I likely just don't remember it. Somehow I remember it as an evil, bad witch that Maria was always referring to. But evil and black were pretty much interchangeable. Okay. Okay, great. You'll clip that? You'll clip what? What is there to clip? What did I do? There's a Tsubasa story about 556? Okay, that's cool. I would love to see that. Or read that. Yep. All right. Oh, it. In quotes. Whoa, cryptic. Do we read Tsubasa next time? We could. If you feel like it. Maybe, here's a crazy thought, but maybe there's also not enough material. So there are 3 streams left in the whole year. Yeah, so there's Thursday, and then there's next week, Tuesday and Thursday. We have already spoken about making Thursday like a Christmassy stream. And generally, even though I cannot particularly grant all like the suggestions that you had, the trend was that you wanted to see something else than Umineko. So we're gonna be doing something else than Umineko. I still have to decide exactly what. So basically there's 2 more Umineko streams left in the year. Does it make sense to start episode 6 and just do 2 streams and then see you next year? Or do you want to fill in this time with the Tsubasa stories? We can do that too. Now, I don't know if there are enough for 2 streams, but we could also just chat a bit longer if that's not enough. I don't know. Yeah, it's not about pertinence, Super Paper. It's also just about doing something a little bit more lighthearted. Yeah, if there are so few streams left, then maybe it's just worthwhile to consider it as a winding down, then taking a break for a week or so until I'm back. Because actually, I think I will be back streaming on the 4th of January, because the 2nd is a Tuesday, but I'm still off. And it's my last day off before starting work, so I will probably maybe be traveling or doing things, and like it doesn't really work as a stream day. So the 4th of January will be the next time that I'm back after New Year's. Yeah, so if you... That's basically 2 weeks of a break, yeah. So if you want to start episode 6 and then leave it and come back to it in basically 2 weeks and a half, 3 weeks, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. I do have Stardew Valley. That's one of the candidates in my mind for the thing, but I've never played it. It's gonna be like Nezu fumbling and figuring things out in Nezu style, which is not super entertaining, so I maybe have to do a little bit of homework for that. I have other things for Christmas streams. Santa Hat doesn't really work with headsets. Yeah. There's a clip from last year's if you want to check it out. I have things. I have Christmassy things. Yeah. Right, so if this is something that we're all vibing with, we can do Tsubasa streams next 2 times, then a Christmas stream on Thursday the 21st, and then we say goodbye for this year and see you again in 2024 on the 4th of January, freshly starting episode 6. How does that sound? To me, that sounds great, because I also feel like I need a little bit of a break. This has been super intense. Let's make Christmas stream. I don't think I can set up a cooking stream. That's the thing. Yeah, exactly. There's I feel like this works out. So then let's do it this way. But remember, we do them in Discord, not here, because I don't want to get in trouble over them, right? And actually, a magical transmission. This time actually was really cool experience because it's a different. The level of interaction is different than on Twitch with the delay and everything, and you can meme with all of the pictures and stuff. That was super fun. So yeah, let's do that Thursday and next Tuesday, so the 14th and the 19th, and then on the 21st we're back on Twitch with the Christmas stream, and then we say happy holidays and see you in the new year. We can meme way harder, yes. 100%. Right, it gives me a little time to breathe as well in between episodes, right? So there you go, it works out. Let's do this. Yep, I would very much appreciate that because I I am lost. Yeah, that's what I was going to, but then I got distracted by chat in true ADHD fashion. And I'll share the link. Yep. Invite people, here it is. This should work. I shouldn't think about a definite. She will be the last thing that I think about on Christmas Eve. No, Erikas, please. Hey, Chidarin. Erika is actually one of Santa's helpers. She just goes about it in a strange way. Oh, no worries. You've came right in time for the best part of tonight, which is gonna be chatting a little bit more with our incredible Bancho. So I'm ready for it. I see that you messaged me that you're also ready for it. So we can have it. I checked my devices before stream. They should be fine, but I don't guarantee anything. Just yeah, right. Just give me a sign that I can actually hit the call button and let's go. Let's go then. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, hi. Yes, this looks good.
We are good, I think.
Right, so you can hear me fine?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I hear you too.
Yes. Episode 5. 5. Yeah, so obviously you told me before this that you solved everything already. And you
don't throw me under the bus like that. Okay, sorry. Go on.
No, but yeah. So yeah, just this episode 5 thing. Yeah, gold truth. What is that?
I think I understand it a little bit already.
Okay. I don't know if I do.
No, I think I mean from what they explain, I kind of understand the direction that it's coming from. More or less, it's kind of like, well, Battler wasn't yet the game master, but it's kind of like the supreme authority of the storyteller to weave in a thing and say, okay, this is just a fact, accept it. Something along those lines.
Yeah, which somehow is different from Rev.
Yes.
It's a little murky, but that's for after to really discuss. Yeah. Anyway, it exists.
I took it to be something like an axiom of the world that doesn't need to be proved.
And what is red then?
What is red? Red is different in that sense, at least in my perception, because it's trying to assert things, but the way in which it's being used, it's because it has this like tricky thing to it attached that how do I say it? I don't know how to put it into words. I know. I think I still have to think about it a little bit, how to word it. But yeah, go on.
Yeah. And Battler solved everything, so
Yeah,
we should
okay, great.
be able to as well.
Celebration, yes.
It should be easy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It only took him to reread everything, and yeah, so that's what you did. You told me you reread the entirety of
Yeah,
Umineko.
of course, that's what I did.
Okay. There is something that is important here. The confirmation that Battler was the detective up until now, which you said wasn't super obvious to you.
It's not that it wasn't obvious. In the beginning, I was thinking about it, that he is kind of playing that role. But because this had never been properly established as a classic mystery that follows the rules, you wouldn't have any sort of certainty that they wouldn't bend it in that way. So, in true fashion of looking at things from all perspectives, I felt that I had to carry with me both sides at all times and not lose sight of it. Pretty much.
Yeah.
It's not that I wanted him to be the culprit. I don't want him to be the culprit because I like him a lot. But I had to consider both.
Yeah, and that's the first real troll. One of the slogans for Umineko early on was "No knocks, no fair. This isn't fair." But then it's like, oh, actually, it is. Yeah. But yeah, there were a few pointers. Obviously, he is the main perspective we see things through.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, in episode 1, when characters are being introduced, I don't know if you noticed this. I wasn't watching back then, but whenever a character got their entry in the tips thing, it was only upon Battler meeting them.
Ah, okay.
Apart from Kinzo, because obviously he didn't meet him, because obviously he couldn't. But after, when they're discussing Kinzo in front of Battler, it's when his entry is also added. That was also a little bit of a hint of until a Battler, sees or is in the context of something, it's not official yet, right? That's what it was kind of saying.
Interesting. I hadn't thought about it because since we're also experiencing things from his perspective, it's also the first time that we see it. So it's easy to draw the conclusion that the thing is added to the character list the first time that you see it, generally speaking. Not necessarily that it's attached to Battler.
Yeah. With the exception of the first scene in Umineko is actually Nanjo and
I remember that
Kinzo.
One.
Yeah,
it's classic.
Okay, yeah. So since he is confirmed detective, there's some things we know about. Some things that are disallowed. The point of a detective is basically someone that doesn't lie to you, someone whose perspective you can trust. That's basically it.
Yep.
So we can do that for Battler. We can trust his perspective, generally speaking. Okay, so we talked about what we were going to do now, and do you have any last thoughts on episode 5 before moving on?
It's hard to articulate anything concise right now. There was just a lot.
Okay, then let's do the Beatrice stuff, the 19 years ago, Beatrice, secret mention kind of stuff. And we'll try to have a general idea of what the timeline for the backstory of Umineko is. We saw a little bit of the past leading up to these 2 days, and I was wondering if we could build something with that glimpse. Okay, so let's start with your thoughts or your understanding about the things that happened before.
Well, one a bit more meta thought that I have is that I went back to look at these things because I thought they were interesting, and there were like concepts that resonated with things that were touched upon in this episode. But they're in a different episode. And so a question that I had, is it all right if I put them together?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Because is the past identical for all fragments of the worlds that we're seeing? Is that something that I could rely on? Or would I just confuse myself if I did that?
Well, definitely you would.
Right?
But it is a good question. Let's say gut feeling. Obviously, we have some overlapping events, right?
Yep.
At the very least, the events over the course of the 2 days, we there's many variations of that. But gut feeling. What do you think is like, let's say, set in stone?
What I think is set in stone.
Yeah, in terms of the constants.
I mean, definitely Kinzo's dead every time. We have established that.
True, yeah.
What is set in stone? Interesting question.
Yeah, so this past thing. You said you're not sure. Does it apply to every episode or not? And I'm asking, what do you think? Do you think it does or do you think it doesn't?
Do I have to justify, or is it alright if I just say a gut feeling? Because I can't justify it.
It's okay.
Yeah. My gut feeling would be that it's the same, but that's the thing. I don't want to fully tunnel vision on my gut feeling and not consider the other option.
If it's the other option, it's not particularly helpful because we kind of only have one version of the past to look at, right? So there isn't really, it doesn't really help.
Yeah, it's just
so I think
a
it's
sea
good
of,
to just assume.
Yeah, it simplifies it a bit too. But then I think, how do I put it? We have had already variations over these 2 days, yeah? And we have also explored just a tiny bit, but maybe not fully, the idea of different future fragments in the previous episode. So you already have the present that can have these variations. You have the future that can have these variations. If you add variations on top of the past, I just feel like it all turns into a bit of a murky soup. And like we don't know where we come, we don't know where we're going, we don't know what we're doing right now, we don't know anything. I feel like it would make a lot more sense to just consider that we're coming from the same place, and there's a reason why all of these deviations are happening right now. And that's my gut feeling.
I agree. I did this.
Yeah.
Let's do this. Okay. So what is this past? What is this backstory? What's your understanding of it so far?
Do we start from the beginning, or how much further in the past?
Sure. Whatever. Yeah. What is? Yeah. Let's go with that. What do you think is like the first important moment in the story chronologically?
The first thing that comes to my mind, I guess the furthest that I set in my mind back in time, is Kinzo becoming the head of the family after that earthquake thing that exterminated them or whatever.
Okay.
One issue that I have, though, is that I have forgotten the time markers that have been spread around. I also don't know how old each character is, so that makes it hard. When things are relative to when they were children or something, I'm like, okay, they were children, but like how actually far in the past was that? And yeah, stuff like that.
We could do that. It's something that isn't given much importance, so there's really no need. There is actually a good website with the complete timeline of Umineko. Of course, you can't look at it now. But yeah, and it has everyone's ages and birth dates and everything. but it doesn't. We don't need to go to that level of detail. So, but I agree. Okay, so Kinzo becomes the head. Yeah. And then what? At some later point, what happens?
To be fair, I don't remember if it's explained how he met or at one point in his life he finds his wife.
Right, he also gets married, yeah.
Yes. I would assume it's downstream of this. And eventually he has his family. And then later on his family has their own families. Right?
Yeah, the siblings are actually very far apart in age.
Yeah, I got that sense too.
So, for example, you looked at Rosa's story, right? When she was young, and she met the witch in the secret mansion.
This was mentioning something about the wife. She was chosen by a few remaining elders. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, when Rosa was young in that story, Natsuhi was actually already like married to Kraus and living there, so they're really far apart in age. That's just an example to highlight that. Yeah, okay. And then what?
Then what? I'm not sure exactly which moments to start highlighting now. Because I have this like little crumpets of it's not that helpful to dig into the past. It's just I don't have anything in any particular order in my mind. Like it's all just total chaos and a mess. And I think it's fine to just try to spread them across, at least relative to each other.
Yeah. That's what I mean. So what about the gold?
The gold. Yeah, I don't know about that. Supposedly it happened early, right? And it contributed to the snowball effect of Kinzo amassing his fortune.
Yeah. He says that it was the witch that gave it to him.
That's the legend.
Yeah. So how? Okay, let me ask you this. We have a rough outline, yeah. But we need to fit the secret mansion in. So.
Okay.
How does that woman that Rosa met relate to current events? Because obviously we know that that person died, fell, and died. How does she relate to current events? And how does she relate to past events?
Right. So we know there was this moment in time when Rosa was, she says something about being like middle school age. I meant to Google that. I forget what middle school age is for Japanese people. But also when she's talking about the story, the others say something like, oh, so then it was roughly like 20 years ago. Which, if she's like 35-ish or something along those lines, that I kind of get the idea, then that makes her 15-ish, 14, something like that. Sure. Is that middle school age? I have no idea.
Sure, let's see, yeah.
I'm sorry, but yeah. But you see, when I first went through these, and then this whole thing with the child and Natsuhi getting the child 19 years earlier happened, I had this like feeling in my mind, in my body, I guess, I don't know, that the Rosa moment happened earlier than that. But then when I went back to check on it, they say, oh, roughly 20 years ago. Well, 20 years is awfully close to 19.
Sure is, yeah.
So then it's not as further back in the past than I imagined it to be. So it's close by.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes the coincidence even more I don't know, adds more question marks to it, I guess.
Obviously, I don't need to hint that there's some relation between these.
Yeah. Another thing that I think I picked up, but again, I forget if there's a year mentioned. There is something said that this was the Rosa incident was shortly after they moved or something along those lines to the island, which makes me wonder what year did they come to the island? Is that specified? Because I don't remember it, and I don't know where to go to fish for it. I don't dare Google things.
I think there is a year for when the mansion was finally built, when they finished building the mansion. And then they moved in,
Yeah.
Which is also, there's also a question of why did he build 2 mansions in an island and move in, but, just Kinzo things, maybe. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on this mysterious woman and mansion? Because, it's pretty weird.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't really get brought up after, but it is clearly very significant. Yeah, so what does it feel like to you?
Feels very weird and creepy.
Yes.
Why would the person be caged their entire lives, not know anything about the world?
Yeah.
Yeah. And just live there. First of all, it puts a lot of questions onto why would Kinzo imprison someone like that? Is he really that deranged? And also, I mean, a question that you would have, and I think I had while this was being discussed, is like, what person would accept that? And I think then later on it's mentioned something about that person having been there their entire life, so not knowing anything else, or it's hinted at, right. Or like Beatrice says something about having been there since being a child. So like, I can't imagine a person who has known the outside world to come here or be imprisoned here and just stay there, right? And not fight. Who would have the lowest kind of defenses against that? Someone who doesn't know the outside world.
Yeah.
Right?
She comes off as sheltered, like literally has never seen anything past that, right?
Yeah, I don't know if sheltered is the right word. Just completely innocent and not knowing more than that. Right?
Yeah.
She comes off as like, I don't know, the forest fascinates her. The fact that there aren't actually wolves there fascinates her. Like, right. Oh, there are no wolves, I can go out? She doesn't have, I mean, maybe it can also be like a mistake, but she doesn't have enough awareness of how to take care of herself outside of that space. Yeah, so all of these kind of indicate that.
Yeah, I think instantly dying after leaving.
It was very...
make it seem like yeah. Okay, so where does this lead us? So yeah, we get the impression that she really just doesn't know any better, doesn't know anything. So what do you think about that?
Oh god. I don't know, like there's this thing hinted at, not hinted, but I think it's mentioned, although I don't remember the full details, of like Kinzo taking care of that what even is called, is it an orphanage or house thing?
Yes.
The one where Kanon and Shannon come from, and other servants
and
stuff.
Yeah.
Orphanage, right? So there's an endless supply of kids there. Yeah, although I don't remember when it's mentioned that it was set up, or yeah.
Okay, so you're saying, for example, maybe he took a baby from the orphanage and raised it in the secret mansion?
It's the easiest thing to think, yeah. But why?
Yeah, of course. The obvious question is why?
Yeah.
But okay.
And made them think they were Beatrice, the witch.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I mean, what we are basically being told or being suggested is that he had an obsession with this. So this would be a projection of his obsession of giving this witch Beatrice a human form.
Yep.
But somehow I'm not really that ready to fully jump on the wagon of Kinzo is just crazy, just Kinzo things. Because I said that in the past as well, because he strikes me as a very smart person too. So these two things kind of come in conflict. It is established, and I don't contest that he ended up having these affinities for the occult and interests and so on. But I don't know, there's still something that kind of holds me back from fully going, Kinzo is just, man, he is a deranged human. Because it feels like just completely making him two-dimensional, and this is like his only trait, and that's it, and that doesn't feel right.
It's basically just hand-waving anything he does. Like, we don't really need to
it's just
explain.
Kinzo things. I wouldn't put it past him. It's just
exactly.
So I think
you're right.
I would want there to be something deeper about that, but I cannot imagine it by myself. What would that be?
So you said he was obsessed, right? That's at least the characterization, like the most constant characterization of him. He is obsessed with this person. So are you suggesting that his obsession predates the girl in the secret mansion?
That's a good question. How would it be? Yeah, I don't know. See, then like, time-wise, I don't know how that fits, because by the time Rosa meets her, she is a certain age. Like, she's at least, like, I don't know, teenage or something, right?
Yes.
Which makes it so weird, because Kinzo is an old man. Oh, Lord. Okay.
He's very old. Do you remember what she calls Kinzo?
Oh, interesting. I'm not sure if I remember exactly. Is this something like fatherly or?
Yeah, there's something there. Definitely something there. You should.
Okay, I'll pay attention.
Return on that and see what is going on there. Battler actually had a million theories about that, but then he got like lost and gave up. Okay. But I think it's worth trying to think what makes sense to have happened here. But okay, I think regarding that topic, that's pretty much it. I mean, short of me explaining everything, there isn't much more. Besides, I still want to know, why is she relevant after death? So why is someone sending letters to people saying that they are the witch?
My only feeling about that is that someone's trying to take advantage of this legend of the witch and kind of spin something in their own interests. But I don't know how that actually connects to the person. What letters?
Okay, fine.
No.
Yeah. All right. So, are you ready?
Oh no.
Time. It is time.
Poor Umineko never.
Solve.
I never brace enough.
Okay, so you said you looked at the end summary, right, for episode 1?
Yeah, a little bit. I did.
Yeah. So the basic plot of episode 1 is, on a Twilight by Twilight kind of thing. Basically, There's 6 dead in the gardening shed, remember?
Yeah.
With, varying degrees of facial disfigurement. And then there is this controversy with the receipt that Eva brings up. Now we know what that's all about.
Yeah.
And obviously Natsuhi is lying about, having met Kinzo. But refuses to say that. We saw that in episode 5. It doesn't matter how bad things get, she will never confess to that ever under any circumstances.
She
and then
is like to a fault trying to protect Kinzo and everything. Since I revisited the whole part with the knock and letter, it was just this detail. I don't know if it has any consequence or anything, but when they're mentioning the cassette tape to record the proceedings of the meeting, she's like, "No, those are father's precious music cassettes." Yes. Yeah. Yeah. She will not give up on that.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how bad things get, even for her, she will not let that go. So yes, she's lying, and she gets mad at Eva, and she and Hideyoshi retire, and they go to some room, and then they're killed in that room. And it's a mysterious one because it's a locked room.
Yeah, the chain and the door.
The first one, yeah, exactly. There's the chain, and then while they're still like reeling from that, there's a smell coming from the boiler room.
Yeah, and Kinzo
rushes in. Yeah, and something happens there as well.
Yeah, and Kanon gets stabbed, right?
Yeah. And then the others arrive, and Butler runs out to find the person. And there's no person. They ran way too fast, and then Kanon eventually succumbs to his wounds. And then they think, okay, let's just go to the study and stay there the whole time.
Yep.
And then they go to the study, and they don't stay there the whole time because there's internal conflict, and half of them are expelled.
That part. Yeah, they send Nandra and the servants downstairs in the parlor.
And Maria, because a letter appeared, a mysterious envelope, and Natsuhi said that it could only have been one of those, and so she expelled them.
The letter appearing like on the table or something, suddenly being there. Yeah. Sorry.
And then they feel bad, but then there's the phone rings, which surprises them because back in episode 1, we have the idea that the phones don't work. Now we know the external line is cut, but the internal line works.
Yeah, the internal line. Yeah, and it's Maria singing in the corner. I remember that was super creepy.
And she's creepily singing in the corner, And then they run out. Butler is equipped with what
chandelier?
Is it?
Not chandelier.
Yes.
The thing with the candles and the candlestick.
A coat. Yeah.
Candlestick.
Candlestick, yeah. Exactly.
Not chandelier. The chandelier is the one on the ceiling. Yeah, sorry.
The door to the parlor is locked.
Yeah, because they locked it inside. Yeah, they locked themselves inside.
Yeah. Which is suspicious because there shouldn't be keys for people to do that, but they go into the parlor and they're dead, or all of them are dead besides Maria. Yeah. And then they're then Natsuhi disappears because apparently she found another envelope and she ran out, and then there's a gunshot and she's dead, and that's basically it, right?
Yep.
Okay, so there is a person that shouldn't exist. What does that mean? If you know what I mean by that.
I'm not sure.
Okay, so for example, there's someone that attacked Cannon and then left the boiler room, right?
Right.
Everyone is accounted for. So who could that be?
One of the people presumed dead.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's pretty necessary that someone faked their death, which isn't shocking.
Yeah.
It's pretty standard as far as mysteries go. So someone faked their death. Do you have any inkling as to who that could be?
I don't know. I mean, I would have to stop and think, but I don't have a gut feeling immediately. No. There were some read throughs later on, like after the fact, right? But they're kind of peppered around. I don't remember them exactly.
Because there's no read truth in episode 1. It's only after in 4 that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so who do you think could be though? We have the bodies in the shed. Do you think it could be one of those? Basically, the choices are shed corpses or Eva or Hideyoshi. Do you have anything you think is more likely?
I don't know.
Okay.
No, because we had these things about there possibly, having been faked bodies, especially for the people who didn't have faces. And oh god, I'm just saying that makes me right. So I would say something like possibly someone who could have swapped something like that. I guess I don't know how that. I don't remember the exact read throughs if it can go around it, or someone who didn't have like the most fatally and easily observable wound. Like I think Eva had it like in her head, right? So how do you fake that?
And Hideyoshi as well.
Yeah. What was it?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Okay. King's of Fake is dead.
or back.
I have the feeling that it was back, but
then maybe it was back. Yeah, there's that CG of him in the shower.
Yeah, that's what I have in my mind too. It's been burned in my retinas.
Okay, so you're suggesting because in the shed there were 2 different kinds of head disfigurements, right? There were people that had half their face disfigured. There are people that had the entire face disfigured. And it was already suggested that maybe the people with the entire face disfigured aren't actually who they seem to be, or it's not, right? That makes some sense.
Mission Impossible masks. Oh god, please, I don't need that variable. Yeah, it's just I don't know how to feel about particularly the bodies in the first Twilight, the possibility of them being faked in some way. Because it's easy to say, okay, the ones without the face are the easiest, let's say, if there's any way of faking them. But I just generally the sense that I get from like observing bodies is that they must be very, very different than observing a living human being, and also in the shock of the moment and stuff like that. Even I know there were read throughs about this, like people not like there's no way they could have misidentified a corpse for a corpse or whatever, stuff like that. But like setting those aside, it has to be something that's not convoluted, I feel like. So how feasible is it to fake a body with either kind of type of disfigurement? Because
I
don't know.
That is a great question. And I was going to transition to what Beata posted right now about Cannon's attack.
Right.
So for canon specifically, even the dead have alibi. So even someone that faked their death couldn't be there to attack canon.
Mm-hmm. But he did not commit suicide, and it wasn't an accident.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Where does that leave us?
No kind of human or dead person on the island could have killed Canon.
So the seagulls did.
Yeah, this is where I don't like it, because we go into the territory of traps or contraptions and things, and I don't like that. I don't like thinking about those.
Right. I think. Okay. You don't like thinking about those. Why? Because what could it be? Like, we didn't see any trap in action so far, right? So
yeah,
we would be guessing as to what it is. It also needs to be a trap such that he gets the wound that he got, right?
Yep.
Which doesn't seem very elegant, right?
I don't know. I don't know if the lack of elegance is the thing that deters me from it. I just have this difficulty imagining contraptions like those, or feeling that like they're the feasible way to go forward in this argument. Even though I did, like, just to have a parenthesis, in the novel that I read, and then there were none, that was kind of like similar. There is a moment where a contraption is used, and I'm like, I would never have guessed this in a million years. Okay, thank you, novel, for explaining it to me. Now I am complete. I have closure. I can go about my day, right? But I never would have been able to come up with that, to be like, oh, this is what the thing is, and like it resulted in things being done a certain way and placed in a particular spot to suggest something else, and like, okay, yeah, good day. Right? So I kind of sign out of those, because I can't come up with them, and it feels like me just banging my head against the wall for no reason.
This is why the Nox rule about the clues is important. It means that if you're going to do something like that, you better have
foreshadowing or clues. Or something
you better
beforehand.
have primed the reader in such a way that they could come up with that. You've shown them some sort of something like that, right? Or Erica did it, yeah. But there isn't anything like that. We never saw any trap or anything like that, right?
Well, I cannot say that we have never gotten any clues that could eventually put together amount to something being explained, because my memory is really bad and a lot of details just fall by the wayside. But we haven't had a moment where like, oh, this is the thing, this is the contraption, or we haven't had a decisive moment of a device.
So let's put them aside as well, or include them in accident, because it's not really a predictable homicide.
Right, sure.
They ran in, they smelled it, but it could have been someone else that ran in before canon, right? Or however that hypothetical trap would be triggered. It seems like it would be extremely precise, and it doesn't seem like the circumstances surrounding the situation makes sense for that to happen. So let's put that aside and see where that leaves us.
Well, it leaves you in a place where you have to consider what can kill a person, or at a very minimum injure a person, when it's not a suicide, it's not an accident, and no one else could have done it to them. And I don't know what the answer to that question is.
Yeah. So, do you remember what happened after they get to canon and Battler runs out? He's still alive when they find him.
Yeah, do they take him to the servants' room and Nanjo tries to tend for him, or am I convoluting it with something else?
That's it, yeah.
Yeah, that's
something
it,
like
yeah.
that, yeah. And Nanjo goes with him, yeah. And then what happens?
Oh. Is this the part with the duplicate canon, or is it in a...
No,
it's in another
that's in
episode,
episode 2.
right? Yeah, okay, great, great. Take that out. No, I didn't want to go there. Because that was just...
We're doing episode 1 first, not just because it's the first one, but also because there's a lot of stuff to get into the other ones. Weird stuff like that. One is fairly grounded.
I don't know if I remember the details of what's happening there.
Okay, well, eventually, Nanjo comes back, right? Without canon.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, hey, I tried, right?
Yeah. The bleeding was too much or something along those lines.
And in the meantime, they take a look at Kinzo's corpse and they do the toes story about how he has 6 of them and whatever, right? Okay. So, yeah. Are you feeling anything? Is anything coming?
I don't know. Maybe just a question about the reliability of Nanjo's observations, because he is just as prone as anyone to be held in the either guilty or not guilty thing, and to explore all the things there.
Okay.
And he's also, I think, relied upon a lot in this episode to inspect the dead, right? Because of his quality as a doctor. So you do have to ask the question, does he always tell the truth about it?
Right.
Yeah.
We already know he's lying about Kinzo, for example. He's one of the ones. So like, he's for sure not a complete honest actor in the whole thing.
Yeah. Actually, the one thing that I have a gripe with him about this is that, well, I can see, like, I do believe that the whole thing about hiding Kinzo being dead is super messed up, generally speaking. I don't make excuses for anyone. I understand more or less where Kraus and Natsuhi are coming from, right? From the perspective of like looking at them with love, although I do disagree with them heavily for doing this.
Yeah, they have an utilitarian outcome.
Yes. Right, but they have reasons, right?
Yeah.
And I could understand to a certain extent the servants, because they serve the masters of the mansion, who now are Natsuhi and Kraus. Okay, but Nanjo is Kinzo's best friend. It's his lifelong friend. How can he go along with this?
Yeah, it's messed up. Yeah.
In various ways, this implies the desecration of the remains of your best friend, and you're okay with that? I don't know. I don't know how to put this together with his whole like general soft, sweet, cuddly teddy bear appearance, which I have fawned over on various occasions, which is cute.
At some point, you're gonna have to contend with that. Everyone is likable, right?
Yeah, and just to mention a thought that I have been having for a while, because I feel like it's the proper moment to say it in the conversation. I also feel like there's an imbalance, at least so far, as to how deeply we can see within characters, because there are characters like Natsuhi, for whom we have seen so much already, and we have gone into like her most deepest, biggest regrets and sins and questionable actions and her motivations and everything, right? So we have a clearer picture of what's happening there. But for Nanjo, we haven't really seen much, for example.
That's right.
Right? So I'm like, what am I to do with this? Because I shouldn't listen to the temptation to easily accuse the people of whom I just simply know more of.
Of course.
But then it's really also hard to penetrate within the deeper secrets of the people that I have not been told anything about. Like, what do I do with that? Do I make it up? You know.
Okay. No, for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I'm using Nanjo as an example. There are other characters as well for whom we have more or less a more superficial understanding than others.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Although, Nanjo is actually a great example of someone. Why is he even there?
He seems to just be there. I guess it's to perpetuate the narrative that Kinzo is still alive, right? So not just hanging out with him.
To perpetuate the idea that Kinzo is alive but sick.
Yeah.
And so it's to be there, Yeah, he is definitely one of the most suspicious. He's a bit of an outsider, not a servant or family member. Yeah, we don't see much about him. Yeah, that's all true. So circling back on the canon thing, what were you suggesting by the reliability of his examinations or his intent?
Both, I guess.
Yeah.
Because if he has a certain intent, he can make an examination that's bogus, and no one could second guess him because he's the expert.
Yeah. And so regarding canon specifically, what would you suggest?
I mean, I don't know. If nobody could have killed him, he didn't commit suicide and it wasn't an accident, and I cannot come up with another idea of how someone can die that doesn't fall into these categories, then he's not dead.
Yeah, that's definitely an out. Yeah. And if he's not dead, then you're correct that Nanjo is either really bad at his job.
Like, yeah.
Yeah. Or misleading people, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say that that's what it is, and we have escaped the red. Okay. Now what? What about Canon? What is he doing with this?
I don't know. My heart breaks because I like him.
I know.
We're chatting with Bancho Squid. All the servants believe in Beatrice Bertoldo. It's because they respect fear Kinzo's crazy beliefs, yet Kinzo's been dead for 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me put it this way. And I'm not saying anything. I'm just putting...
You're giving an example or something. Yeah, I got it.
I'm just explaining where we're at. But, for example, for the final or the murder in the parlor that caused the deaths of Nanjo, Genji, and Kumasawa, do you think it was Maria that did that? She was also in there, so do you think it was her?
I forget how they were just impaled with the stakes, right?
Yes.
I mean,
in the correct body parts of the
the epitaph. Yeah. I mean, how can a child overpower so many adults? That's the first thing that you can think of.
I think that's a fairly good, and also, how could that happen? Why? Yeah.
And also, I don't know if there's again, I don't remember the details. If it's ever mentioned that she has blood on her or not, because then
Oh right, so she would have gotten blood for doing that. True.
We have it in red. It's not Maria.
Yeah. And we also have it in red that it's none of the victims. It wasn't a Mexican standoff like Battler suggested.
Yes.
It wasn't that.
I see the Spider-Man meme every time that's brought up. It's just like
yeah. That's not what happened. So there was someone who we thought was dead, right? Okay, so we're back here. Now, there are people there are people in the shed. There's Eva and Hideyoshi. There's obviously that Kinzo, but he's definitely dead.
Yeah.
And then there's
the one
Kanon.
Thing that we can be sure of is Kinzo is dead.
It's always a solid start. Kinzo is dead, yeah.
Yes.
And then the only other victim, Kanon, dies off screen. This is where we're at right now.
Yeah. So then, I guess, if we are to continue this train of thought, the idea would be to figure out how could Kanon kill the others, right?
Yes, exactly. So he has the opportunity. I mean, he has the opportunity to kill the people in the parlor. If it was him, he also chose not to kill Maria, or rather, whoever did it chose also not to kill Maria specifically, and like did whatever.
But also Maria is very convinced that Beatrice told her to turn around and sing.
Yeah,
sing as loud as you can, or like something so that you don't hear, or whatever.
Yeah. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I don't know. This characters disguising as something else is yet another thing that I put in the same category as the traps. It breaks my heart, my head trying to think about it. If it's possible or not, I don't know.
But let me reframe that a bit. Someone is Beatrice in terms of someone is calling themselves that.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's not one of the characters, right, of the actual story. It's not one of the actual suspects, right? So it's less a disguise as someone else. It would be more like secret identity, like Batman thing. It's not like, the superheroes are disguising themselves as the superhero. They are the superhero, right? Okay. So let's bring Canon back and see how he could or could not do, for example, the gardening shed. Is there any issues with him doing the gardening shed?
Oh wow. I don't remember what was happening.
Well, there's a much about it because it's not really a locked room. They talked about how someone had to have gotten the key to the shed to open the shed, to close the shed, right?
Put it back in where it usually is. Yeah.
In theory, everyone would know how to do this. Of course, the servants are a little bit more suspicious because they work with this day to day. But in theory, anyone could have done that, right?
No, I'm just trying to remember what was happening the night before. I think Kanon was in the guest house. Was he?
They do that.
Memory bad. Sorry. I know they do that fading thing, and they show you where they are. And I remember. I just have this distinct memory of Shannon just closing windows or like doing things because Goda didn't want to do it, so she was kind of out doing Goda's work. I remember that because it pissed me off. So that's why it's attached to a memory.
There was also that thing where the servants' schedules got switched around.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember where everyone was. I have this distinct feeling that like the people who were killed were people who were in the mansion.
Right.
Like all of the ones that technically died or supposedly died in the first Twilight, they were in the mansion and not in the guest house. So there was like this separation there going on.
Yeah.
I know Natsuhi put that thing on her door and she was kind of protected, let's say.
Yeah.
And on the other side of her door, there was the bloody thing, kind of someone tried to open the door, whatever.
Exactly. So, any blocker for Canon having done the shed killings?
No, I don't remember right now all of the details.
Okay. And then the locked room, which it kind of seems like no one could have done that one, right? So how do we do that one for Canon or anyone?
I don't remember the order in which the people come to see them, or if everyone comes and finds the bodies, or if he's in the group or not.
So what happens is Canon and Genji go, and Eva and Hideyoshi are unresponsive, right?
Oh yeah. Now I started to remember. Yeah.
And then they try to open the door. They can unlock it because they have the keys, obviously, but the chain is set, and so Genji sends Kanon to get the cutter.
Sorry, Bear's being funny, Jeff. Yeah, the cutter. Yeah, I remember now. Yeah, it's starting to come back to me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
when
basically, Kanon is one of the first responders, let's say, that discovered the thing.
Yes.
Right. So he's not missing from the discovery party, I guess. And you cannot make an argument of like if it's him, he was hiding somewhere in the room or something. Because we just had an example of like a locked room, technically, where someone was hiding in the room, even though they were not the culprit. But I feel like it's kind of like the novel being like, look, it could have happened because in the, I don't know, I guess, stress of the moment, nobody was gonna start properly checking things in the room. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
but then this
one of the
doesn't apply.
One of the traditional solutions to this is that the murderer remains inside and then leaves after everyone, opens the room and they leave. Yeah. But for that to work here, it would have to be someone of the first 6 dead, right? At which point we're complicating things, right? So let's put that one on hold and consider, so then he returns with the cutter. Genji and Kanon reunite by the door, and they see that there's markings on the door, right?
Oh yeah, that I didn't remember. Markings on the door?
Yeah, like another magic circle thing.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
And then he cuts the chains, and then the rest of the characters arrive to cry and yell and do Umineko pain things. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's the order of events, roughly. So how could it have been done?
I don't know. Do we trust everything that we see? In the sense of, if there's a scene and there's only 2 characters there, and it's being shown to us that it happens in a certain way, even in episode 1 where we don't have Beatrice to put the brown tube trial things in front of our eyes. Yes. Do we trust that it was exactly like that, how it happened, or could we go down the road, okay, maybe Genji and Kanon are in cahoots? If they're only the first 2, right? And only after they open the door, they open the locked room, and after that the others arrive to observe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, that makes sense to me. Yes. Does it make sense to you? You don't like it, but that makes sense to you.
No, I don't like it because we're exploring Kanon being the culprit, and I like him. But yeah, It's all right. I think even if he turns out to be the culprit, I'll still like him, and in Umineko fashion, I will have love for him, and that will be enough for me. Yeah.
Okay. Regarding, by the way, the scene when he's attacked in the boiler room, that is pretty much the first actual magical kind of scene.
Yeah.
There's the butterflies. Yeah. He does a weird
and he stands
speech.
up to it. And that's why I like him a lot.
Yeah.
This is such
it's
a
very
cool
moment for him, yeah. But while we're saying this, we're saying we're shitting on the fact completely, yeah. Or maybe we don't have to really dismiss it so much. Maybe there's some sort of middle ground, but yeah, we are kind of, yeah. But that's the same with the Kinzo scene with Natsuhi. We also know, yeah, that didn't happen, unfortunately. Yeah, that's very wholesome. Okay. So, does this make sense for episode 1 for you? In terms of... Does it make sense for you if you were to... Okay, so we've reached this point. Do you think this is something that could have been reached? Like, without so much, like, leading?
Do you think that I could have gotten to this point by myself? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think so. Not saying that it's correct, but
oh no, I'm not saying it's correct either. I'm just doing it for the sake of the
Yeah.
argument.
But it's like a simple one that makes sense. It makes sense to hone in on the one death that happens off screen, or rather, the one corpse we don't see, right?
Yeah. But the thing is, I think if I were thinking about it by myself, I would be like, this is so, like, cheesy in a way. To be like, oh, this is the easiest straw that you can grab at, or like low-hanging fruit kind of thing. And the novel in itself being of this scale and complexity, I just have the feeling that they wouldn't, like, the low-hanging fruit wouldn't be the thing that eventually explains everything. Because otherwise it wouldn't be this momentous revelation that has changed people's lives. I'm thinking in a very meta level here. But why would people be fascinated by a mystery if the answer is the guy who died off screen did it?
Right. Yeah. No matter what, there's way more.
Yes, way more to exactly.
It. But at the very least, regarding Cannon's death, I don't really see.
Iris Moth something. I think. Are you referring to Shannon seeing something in the night before? I think I have this faint memory of her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. Yes.
Oh wow! I have memories of things. Great.
You do see. You could totally solve. You could solve everything right now.
Well, I appreciate the faith, the vote of confidence. I don't know.
And then, not to necessarily go into episode 2, it depends on, how much, for how much longer you wanna talk. But
I don't really want to go into episode 2. Is madness.
Yeah, it is.
It's like what 1,000 just. Beatrice I'm here, I'm entering the mansion. I have a cool short skirt now. Sure.
It is very cool though.
Yeah, she looks good.
So imagine you come out of episode 1 thinking, you know what? I think this Canon guy did it.
No.
And then in episode 2, he's one of the first to get killed off. And in Rev, he is dead. Right?
Yeah.
So we're being toyed with a bit.
Oh yeah. Oh, you think so?
Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but there's a little bit of trolling going on.
Oh yeah. For sure.
But I think this is kind of the intended effect. I think you're kind of supposed to reach something like this from episode 1 and then be pretty shut down in episode 2.
Yeah. But actually, I think here there's a question, and maybe it's a stupid one because I had it, but nobody else seems to, or nobody has expressed anything in either direction of it. Is it really the case that the culprit in each episode is the same?
That's definitely a question.
It is a question. Right? Because at some point when I was thinking about it, I also entertained the idea that maybe it's not, and it could be an avenue to explore in a way the potential that each character has to get to a point to do this, because they all have their own skeletons in their closets. And yeah, I put it like, okay, it could be this, but it also could be this, so I should pay attention to both sides. Did I make sense?
Yeah, of course, 100%. Or you don't pay attention to both sides, and you put all your eggs in the one basket that you choose, and you go with it.
Yeah, and see how far it takes you.
There is something, the way that they've been talking about culprits, especially recently in episode 5. For example, when Butler suggested the men from 19 years ago did it, and Leonard said, it can't be someone who was just introduced in this episode. You even thought, she said in the early part of the story, right? And you even thought, wait, he was introduced in the early part of the story because we were thinking of the episode, right?
Yeah.
But she meant, episode 1, right? So since for her it matters that the culprit for episode 5 would have to have been introduced in episode 1, I think that standard gives us a hint that it is basically the one culprit.
It still feels like a little bit of a leap to me.
Okay.
Because to me, it feels like it's only saying it has to be one of the characters that were introduced in the very beginning of the story. But I don't know if that completely cuts out the possibility of, since we're seeing diverging different fragments of there being different people who ended up being culprits. I don't know. Or you could also put it on the idea that something like this definitely must have been planned, and if we're considering the past of these events more or less fixed, then it ends up being the same culprit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Or to the extent that the character of Beatrice is representing the culprit. It's only one character, right? There, she seems to be, she has her own things.
Yeah, I guess if you phrase it that way.
But Beto does bring up a good point about episode 3. In episode 3, what do you think about episode 3? We see Eva kind of
oh yeah
wilding.
oh yeah
what did you think about that? So when we see the Eva scenes, or when Eva Beatrice is killing people, what do you think about that?
Ugh. Yeah. Well, coming on the back of episode 2, I wasn't really sure what to think about magic generally because it was just confusing. Eventually, I put it down on Eva Trice kind of representing a darker side of her.
Right.
Did that actually mean Eva was going around murdering people? I still couldn't say it 100%, even though there's that moment of, I don't know, what was it? Kyrie finding the thing in the pocket that suggested that it led to Hideyoshi eventually having smoked in the room where Eva was supposed to be resting because she was feeling sick, which he couldn't possibly have done because he respected that Eva didn't like him smoking. I remember that part. So then there's a suspicion cast on Eva's whereabouts. And that going in tandem with Eva Trice going around murdering people, it could be an avenue to go down and be like, Eva was just like, because of having discovered the gold, she went into nut mode because, I don't know, apparently when people are faced with the gold, something very fundamentally changes within them, and this thing has been brought out of her, and she's going around murdering people. But isn't that the most obvious thing, again, for this chapter, for this episode?
Yes, it is.
Right?
It is what Battler suggests as well. Do you do you buy Battler's explanation of the event?
I don't remember fully what Battler's explanation of the events was.
Basically, Eva is the culprit, and he puts out the kind of evidence that you're bringing out now.
Mm-hmm.
But even if we buy all of that, there are still 2 unexplained murders that he doesn't connect to Eva at all.
Or what?
I
mean just in terms of proof?
In episode 3, the first Twilight, which is the one where each servant and Kinzo is dead in different rooms, and each one has the key.
Oh yeah, the circle,
yeah. And the final one with Nanjo's murder, which someone was there, but no one could be there. Someone was really there with the gun, but everyone was dead except for the people who are alive, but those people didn't do it, right? So those 2 remain unexplained, even if we accept that Eva did all of the rest.
But I can't imagine Eva killing George and Hideyoshi. This to me just doesn't compute. It like puts my brain in a freeze mode, because why would she? If there's anything that I believe is genuine and good about Eva, is her love for her family.
Yes.
So I'm sorry, this has nothing to do with putting together mysteries and clues. It's just something that cuts through all of that for me, and it's just like at the forefront of my head.
Mean,
why?
It does have to do with it. This is why, the butler is such an easy person to pin it all, because he's not related. The the butler isn't part of the family. That's why it's a cliche to
the
have
butler
the
did
butler
it.
be the culprit, right? Yeah. What we have here, the same issue. They're all family except for the servants, but some of the servants are in romantic relationships with people of the family, right?
Yeah.
So many people die that the that about like bonds and familial ties, while important and valid to think about, at this point we should put aside just for now.
Yeah, I see what you mean. I'm just saying what comes to me when I think of those things. And while I do agree that the whole thing, they're all family, yes, but Eva, I don't think she would give a rat's ass about other people's children in comparison to her own. Yeah.
Yes. Let me ask you something. Before I go on way longer.
Yeah, no, it's all right. I personally am fine as long as you're fine.
How much? Yeah, I was gonna ask how much. How are we on time? Where? Yeah. Let me know, because I can stay here forever.
We can stay a bit longer. It's all good for me. I don't have to be up early tomorrow morning, so I'm good. as long as you're good. Like we can stay like, I don't know, 25 more minutes. Is that a good?
For me, it's infinite time, so it's really all about you.
All right. Okay.
So you said you don't buy that Eva would kill George and Hideyoshi.
Not intentionally, no.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah. Do you recall how Hideyoshi, for example, died?
In the whole way, like, because I don't remember the details. He was separated from Kitty and Rudolph, who had their epic battle in a different place. But I forget who he was with. He was with was he alone?
He's kind of. We don't really see what's going on with him.
Right, so Kitty, Rudolph, and Hideyoshi went to the mansion to get food, right? Something along those lines.
Yes. That's right.
It was just the three of them?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Right, so he kind of gets separated, and then, yeah. It's kind of off-screen for him, or is he not?
Yeah, because Rudolph and Kitty are each battling their own stakes.
Yeah. That was a badass moment.
Yeah.
Super nice. Although I don't like the aftermath. But I don't know, I just had this sense of yes, whenever they stood up to the magic or the stakes or whatever.
But then
it was good.
But then it's all shut down pretty hard, isn't it? So yeah, they managed to defeat the stakes, but then Beatrice summons the sisters.
Yeah.
And then Hideyoshi comes back. And he is slapping Eva Beatrice, and he's like, Eva, what the hell are you doing? And then do you remember how he dies following that?
No, I forget the details.
Okay. I will remind you.
Remind me, yes, please.
What happens is Eva Beatrice doesn't use the sisters or the stakes or anything. Instead, we see one of the rifles from Kitty and Rudolph rise up into the air.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And shoot him.
No, okay, yeah. I remember now. Right.
While Eva Beatrice is taken aback at Hideyoshi just scolding her.
Uh-huh. Right.
That's what happens, which is different.
Mm-hmm.
It's a different thing.
So you could say that you can explain it as the dark side of Eva completely taking over everything, her reasoning, her love for her family, everything, and just clouding her judgment and getting her into these great moments. I don't know.
Yeah. I like the silence. I feel like I say something and then you must be like, okay, what am I supposed to make of that?
I mean, I'm supposed to at least try to entertain it in some direction. That's why we're talking about it. I'm not saying that anything that I'm spouting right now is my theory of everything. It's just a thought experiment, I guess.
Yeah. Okay. And then for George, I don't think Butler actually suggested Eva killed George either. I don't remember exactly. So maybe it was also someone else. In the end, there's some way to like go around that of what Eva actually supposedly did if she did do the other things. We don't need to also accept that she killed Hideyoshi and George. Even though that would be something fair to assume, it's also very fair to assume that she wouldn't do that. When we see future Eva, right? She is not a happy person. she clearly mourns the loss of her family, right?
Yeah.
Okay, this was all about whether the culprit is always the same one or not. So, again, gut feeling. What do you think?
If the culprit is always the same?
Yeah, just putting aside episode 3, potentially, in some specific Twilights, because others are still unexplained. It could very well be, whoever we would consider the ultimate culprit to be. So putting those aside, what would you say? Are we looking for potentially different one each episode, or are we looking for the one person?
I mean, this is also all based on the assumption that it's one person. Because
yes,
there's also something in the way of thinking that how can only one person by themselves achieve all of this? Maybe there's multiple people scheming, and then maybe there is the same group of people who are scheming, but they end up doing different things at different times depending on the particularities of the episode.
Yep. Definitely. So, okay, I'll readjust then. I guess I can call them factions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, okay, like that, do you think it's always the same one?
I mean, if the story wants it to be the same one, and if the red truths from tonight point to that, then I am fine with going that route because it simplifies things for me as well. Yes. Otherwise, like, there's so many options that, and I wouldn't want to go about it in the way of like, okay, let's try every option, because then it's never ending.
Of course, yeah.
So then that would simplify it in the sense that if something is a bit easier from one episode but other things are more difficult, you can just focus on the things that you feel like you maybe have a grasp on and pick those from each episode and see how they could work together, like kind of extracted and put together. I guess you could do something like that. That would simplify it.
Definitely. Let me quickly address what Peter said about episode 4. Yeah. Remember when Butler takes the test and he sees Beatrice up in the...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and they have a conversation?
Mm-hmm.
That is
Beatrice has
someone.
a dual personality in that scene,
Yeah. So that is someone, right? So this is related to disguising, right? There is someone, at least in that instance, there is someone with the getup of the hair and that, right?
I guess.
So someone does do that.
I suppose I feel like that's coming on the back of George fighting Gab and Jessica fighting Ronoe. Are you telling me someone dressed up as them? Not really. So in my mind, it wasn't really that decisive that Beatrice was a real person.
The difference now is Battler being, having a more privileged perspective.
Yeah, okay. When you look at it with the hindsight of this episode, right?
Yeah.
Right. I see what you mean. And so someone would dress up as Beatrice and tell Battler that he committed a sin 6 years prior.
Yes.
When he was 12.
Exactly.
Remember, Battler. Remember your sin.
Remember. Forgetting is your sin or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's clearly someone that has a grudge. Someone is a bit angry. Yeah. Do you have any idea about that? Because that one is a little more difficult.
And then, was it at the end of that same scene that she kind of like denounces him as like, you're not the real grandchild of Kinzo. I came here to have with the actual, and you're not.
At the meta level.
Goodbye.
At the meta level, she did that. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which is also its own thing. But okay, step by step. Do you have any idea about what a sin could be?
What kind of sin can a 12-year-old commit? I don't know.
Right.
I mean, pointing back at the 6 years is supposedly the moment when his supposed mother, now I have to say, because it's no longer his mother, I don't know, right. Dies, and then Rudolph shortly remarries Kyrie, and he's upset about it, or at least that's how the story has been weaved to suggest that to us, and he leaves the family to live with his grandparents. Is that it, or am I completely off base? Yeah. That's the moment that it's being pointed to, or like at least time-wise, timeline at core, it's around the same time. So what kind of sin can a child commit in that context?
That's what he mentions, because he thinks that's what she's talking about. But then she's like, and what else? But he doesn't know anything else. Right?
Sorry, can you rephrase the question?
Yeah, sorry. No. I wasn't asking you anything. I was just saying that when she asks him about his sin, he says that he explains why he left the family, and then she's like, okay, and is that all you have to say? Like that wasn't it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how I'm supposed to come up with this. Judging by how everyone is asking, I can only assume that there have been clues prepped beforehand that I'm supposed to put together and figure out what Battler's sin was.
The chat may disagree, but I think, is it possible? Yes. Is it there? Yes. But that's really, it's really just that. I wouldn't say that it's definitely not easy. It is the needle in the haystack that you were talking about.
Mm-hmm.
It's very subtle. So there's no way you will not, unless by sheer miracle you have an actual like idea, or I don't know, or it feels like something specific and you say it and that's what it is, I don't think that you'll reach that particular point of this. But I don't know. Give it a shot. Like what does it sound like? If it sounds like anything.
It doesn't really sound like anything in particular. At least I don't. There's nothing that bubbles up and it's like, oh, this could be it.
Okay. Yeah. Because you're right. He was 12. What did he do? And to whom? Who was so offended?
Yeah, like Iris Moth points out, it was the thing that in a moment actually I remember it quite upset me. That whatever he did, maybe not directly, but at least has some indirect effect on people dying. Yeah. Really?
It's the reason, basically. It's how it's presented. Because you did this, this is happening.
Mm-hmm. And it just felt like so much altogether. Plus, like, it's kind of around the I forget where it is placed in the story, if it's before or after the whole thing that you're not your mother's son thing. And it's all just like sheds this question of like, who is Battler? Has Battler been abducted by aliens and been replaced by a clone? I don't know. How can that be a scene that affects people dying right now?
Okay, I will...
Could he be rude to canon or Jesus?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So we're suspecting canon, right? Could he have offended canon 6 years ago?
Yeah, I mean, kids do a bunch of things, you know. Enja just like said that I don't believe in your magic, and then Maria took it super personally, and they were kids, right?
That is true, actually. Yeah, it could be some sort of innocent thing like that, but kids are cruel, right?
Yeah, they can be very cruel. Yes, they can be very cruel. That's true. I don't think intentionally, but the aftermath can result. Yeah.
But like it's being pointed out, the point of the question from Beato was that canon was not around 6 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't working there yet, and Battler meets him for the first time.
Yeah, now that you say it, I guess
returning.
that rings true. Yeah.
So yeah. On the other hand, right, when they're talking about this on the meta level, he asks Beatrice what he did to her, and she's like, "You didn't do anything to me."
Yeah, you didn't do anything to me. Like she was saying something that she didn't exist 6 years before or something like that.
Right.
She didn't have whatever. Yeah.
And
so it's not related to her, but she's like super pissed about it anyway.
Yeah. And he doesn't really buy it because like, if it wasn't to you, why are your eyes like that?
Yeah. So maybe it wasn't directly towards her, but it's something that she cares very deeply about for some mystical reason or connection.
Yeah. Honestly, it is very mystical right now. There's no way. It is pretty obscure at the end of the day, especially without going through the whole thing again, which you will not do. Do not do that. It's way too much effort. It doesn't make any sense to do that. So it is my opinion that that will just have to come later.
I'm fine with that though.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. Maybe I'm just a weird person in this sense, but I am actually all good and can derive a lot of enjoyment staying in this like dual state of not knowing is it this or is it this throughout a story, and then having it be unfolded at the end, because it's a more enjoyable experience than just I figured it out now and it's all downhill from here. Especially if I fall into a trap and I think I figure something out, but it's completely wrong, and then I tunnel vision or whatever, right? So I'm perfectly cool with just staying in this mode and keeping my mind open to things. And of course, I'm listening to you and the things that you're saying. You're very kind that you're taking all this time to guide me, and I will obviously put more weight into the things that we have discussed or established, or things that have been revealed in this episode, that we can consider that, okay, this is it, and we don't have to alternate between myriads of options and stuff. But just generally, I thrive in this state.
Yeah.
I'm fine being like this. I think in a way it, for me, I don't know how generally people feel about this particular novel. There's obviously a really big community, and you're all very passionate about it, and the whole detective part is super big about it. But for me, just keeping my heart open to absolutely every single character, regardless of if they did or not, or whatever weird things are discovered about them throughout the story, just keeping my heart open to absolutely anything that can come and make me have a moment with them is the most interesting and fulfilling to me. So I feel like not necessarily starting to point fingers at people kind of enables me to stay in this dual state of, I don't know about them, but let's see. If it makes any sense, I don't know. It's late at night.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. It's perfectly legitimate. But I do have to ask you.
Yeah.
Are you okay with remaining like that even after the novel is done?
I don't know how I'm gonna feel after the novel is done, because there's probably gonna be a lot of things coming in. If what you're trying to suggest there is that the novel doesn't fully explain everything, or if it only presents you with some ingredients and then you have to bake the cookie or the pie, whatever, yourself, I guess I will try to do it, of course. But I don't know. I don't feel like I have a lot of ground to stand on to be like, oh, I can actually figure it out.
Right. It's just some people binge it, and at the end they're like, I don't get it. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. I'm still as lost as I was in episode 1. And there are some, not to get too explicit, but there are some of the later parts that are just, I would say they can be quite unenjoyable if you are completely lost.
Right.
So this is why we're kind of suggesting,
I know,
don't be completely lost. Have
Yeah.
something, just some, even if it's super light, and then try to map it. Yeah, as more things come. Yeah. If if episode 8 was like a straight up explanation of everything, I don't think we would be pushing so hard.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of gathered that this is the direction at least some of the things are going to take, that they're going to stay more or less open, and that I still have to pick up some pieces at the end. And yeah, I'm picking this up from the things that you guys mentioned in chat. And I do want to give the mystery part its due course and respect and everything. But I am not an ideal detective that can go about these things as if this is, I don't know, my routine of the day, right? So I do struggle with this this dilemma quite a bit. Like, how much effort do I have to invest in this? Because, okay, I do want to pay respect to it, and I don't want to constantly come up to you on stream and be like, I don't know. You know, it feels I don't know what the right word for it is. It feels like I'm not putting in the right interest in this, but at the same time, I don't want to overdo it either.
Yeah.
Because I feel like the more effort I put into this, it's taking me away from the things that I actually enjoy about the novel. And so I'm just kind of caught in between these two things. And while I do try my best, I don't think that there's gonna be this miracle revelatory moment where I piece things together and there's like a chat is clapping and there's like a super satisfaction. And just, I'm sorry.
I mean, even if you did figure everything out preemptively, I personally would not confirm anything.
Yeah, I know.
but yeah. Yeah, no, of course. Last thing I want to do is detract you from enjoying it. Literally last thing. I want more to just kind of show you what is, because it is being asked, something is being asked from the novel. It's like give it a shot, right? Especially now, pretty explicitly, it's like give it a shot. That is being asked,
Right.
and you are. So that is it.
It's a very scuffed shot, though.
Yeah, but 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 there's so much text.
I know.
There's way too much text.
Yes.
All right. So about oh, there was something I wanted to mention. What was it? Oh, okay. Yeah, I wanna clear something up. I don't think I'm being too explicit if I say this, but yeah, remember when you mentioned that following the sin conversation, that then was when Beatrice did the whole thing about Battler's birth, mother, and all of that?
Maybe it's just my memory conflating them together. I feel like they were very close.
That was it.
Yeah. Okay.
That was it. Basically, I will say what happened, just in case it's confusing. What happened was she got she got a bit mad about how the conversation went, both in the board and at the meta level.
Yep.
And she wanted to distance herself. She wanted like, okay, you know what? I give up. I don't wanna keep going. But Blather was like, no. We're finishing this. Because she didn't want to play anymore, but he wasn't being let go, right? So he's like, no, let's keep going. And then she's like, no, I don't want to play. And also, you're actually an invalid adversary because I wanted to do this game with this particular person. You're not that person, right? That's what happened.
Yeah.
But she is kind of lying, right? And you pointed it out at the time as well. What she talks about his mother has no bearing on whether he is a descendant of Kinzo's. Yeah. So she's kind of lying in the sense of she knows this one thing, and she knows that if she says it, it will confuse him enough that he won't realize that it doesn't actually apply. He will be too lost in the fact that his identity is being attacked so thoroughly that he won't even realize that it has nothing to do with what is being talked about. So it is a secondary thing to the sin. It's just the weapon that she thought, you know what, like, because he is a valid opponent, right? She's lying, right? And she's justifying with this one thing that he didn't know about and that threw him for a loop. That's
I mean,
what
I think
happened.
that also throws us for a loop as well, because it makes us question, like, okay, who even is Battler anymore? you know? And I think what I said in the moment is that it still doesn't matter who his mother is, as long as he is Rudolph's son. He is, by extension, Kinzo's grandchild. But then we are kind of I think that's also a curveball to us as readers. We're kind of like, okay, can we make this statement now? Because it seems that we don't know much about these things, right? Can we make a statement that he is indeed Rudolph's son?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Although, if he wasn't, she would have said that, right? She specifically didn't say
yeah,
he
that's
wasn't
true.
like
because she manipulates the red, to make you
What
think
she
she's
actually
saying
said-
something, but she's saying something
Exactly.
else. Yes.
That's exactly it.
Yeah.
So in terms of what you're talking about, like, is he the valid adversary? Yes. But it's still not okay that suddenly his mom isn't who he thought, right?
Yeah.
But that's a whole separate thing. And
Yeah.
by the way, do you have any idea what's going on with that? Do you buy that he is the man from 19 years ago?
No.
Okay. That was pretty. There was some certainty behind that. No.
It's certainty that has nothing to do with me actually listing proof and a logical argument for it. It's just, again, a gut feeling, but I don't know why it's just so strong in this direction that no.
Awesome.
I don't know if it's awesome
That's
or not.
great, yeah. It's funny because he was actually one of the best candidates to be that person because the age is pretty close.
Yeah, I know. I thought
Since
about
no
it
one
too.
is actually
19,
19.
18 is pretty close. Who could tell the difference
Yeah.
between a 19 and an 18-year-old?
Exactly.
Maybe some shenanigans happen. Who knows?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you say no, then you know what?
But no, I don't. No.
I will agree with you. He is not. So that's not the truth behind his birth. Well, what do you think that is? It seems pretty secondary to the whole thing, but I'm just wondering if you have any idea about that.
I just was taken back, but again, I don't remember exactly where the details about this are given. Some of it are given, I believe, by Kirie, maybe in her fight in episode 3 with the stake, about what happened in the past, because Rudolph loved Kirie, but then technically the story is that he left, is it Asumu? Asumu, right? Left her pregnant, and then he married her, but Kirie then also had a child who died, and yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of things there about Battler technically in Kirie's eyes being Asumu's son, the woman who took everything away from her, and like there's this whole thing there, and the first thing that took me by surprise there was like, the whole premise of Rudolph not being with Kirie and going to Asumu was because she was pregnant with his child. Right? That was the motivation. At least that's what I remember. So then if Battler is not her son, then what the fuck happened there? Did they exchange babies? But that's like too soap opera thing, kind of.
That is extremely soap opera. Yeah,
yes, exactly. And I'm like, no. That's come on. What are we doing with babies in this novel in general? Like, poor babies, you know? Yeah. So I guess I would have to go back and like pick together these parts and try to see how I feel about them when I read them together, because they're too scattered in my memory.
Yeah. Although let's say for example, that's what it was. Okay. What then?
I don't know. What then?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, or rather, it's hard to make this actually extremely. It's hard to make this super relevant, right, to the overarching situation. So that's why people don't usually mention it very often or ask you about it, because but yeah, it could be extremely soap opera or something completely different. But yeah,
Nezumi's rule: soap opera plots are not allowed to exist. No, please leave me alone.
Okay. I accept
I'm kidding.
that,
I'm
alright.
kidding. I don't know.
Okay. Beato is asking if is there a person who would want all Ushumias and servants dead?
That's gotta be a lot of hatred accumulated in the body of one person. That's a lot of people.
Yes.
In very gruesome ways. I don't know. Is it Nanjo's revenge for having been taken advantage all of these years and Kinzo not being a good friend to him?
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just late at night.
The only issue with Nanjo is I don't think he would fit in the dress we see Beatrice in.
Oh yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe I'm being rude. Okay. Again, listen. Literally. Okay, I'm big chilling. I have all the time in the world right now. So, tell me how you are feeling.
I'm feeling like it's okay for tonight. It's enough, and I would want to go rest. But obviously, we can have a chat some other time as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
These are nice.
Great.
It's also much easier on my brain to kind of spar with someone than be left alone to my own devices, because I know I can overthink things and just go into the ether, maybe like in a direction that in the end has like no bearing on anything, but I hyper fixate on that, and then the rest is kind of lost and I haven't achieved anything. So this is nicer.
Yeah, and you can ask about things you don't remember and things like that.
Yeah.
This is the way, I think. Yeah.
I appreciate your time. This was super nice.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Anytime.
You should make video essays about this.
Yeah.
You would be very good at it.
There is one. It's like 9 hours long. It was lost and then recovered. About a theory that isn't correct, but he was super convinced that it was. And by the way, this is someone that read the whole thing and it was super wrong. So.
Is that really a bad thing? Like at the end of the day, you get a lot of it from, like, if this is something that like just gets your brain pumping and your adrenaline running and like it makes you feel like you have achieved something at the end of the day if you put your effort into this, like, just by all means. it's a great endeavor. It's a mental exercise for your brain.
Okay, one last thing then, just the one last ultimate thing.
Sure.
So, Battler not the 19 years ago, we are forbidding that. That's not the case. Well, obvious question. What is this? What is this person? What is happening?
Yeah, right? I don't know for sure to like point at someone and say, okay, I suspect this person, but it would have to be someone else orchestrating this, and taking advantage of Natsuhi for some reason or another, knowing these secrets about her and to manipulate her with them. To me, what this does is, again, I'm sorry, I'm veering a little bit off topic, but the presence of this voice on the phone in this episode, what does for me is makes me question all telephone interactions in the previous episodes.
Okay.
Like, what is there, like an argument to be made about their authenticity? Could someone be posing as someone else? Because there were moments where there were some, right? I don't know if that has any bearing on anything. It's just the one place that my mind takes me. As to who the man is, I don't know. To be frank, there were moments when I was like, would Klaus do this to manipulate her?
Mm-hmm.
Because he had this moment that I think I mentioned as well during the stream, where she is obviously, her emotions are super heightened and she's stressed out and she doesn't know what to do, because like they're talking about it was like that night with before the clock struck midnight and they left the study and they were on the second floor. Yep. And they were talking about this plan of like making Kinzo disappear and if they should enact it or not. And like she was super stressed out. And it's like, okay, we should do it to just get it out of the way because whatever. And he tries to calm her down. And it's this moment that on the one side is very sweet of him, and it kind of like maybe brings out an endearing side of him actually loving Natsuhi, which I don't contest. I think he actually loves her. But it also feels like he is bringing that out in the moment to kind of make her see eye to eye with his plan, so that things go the way he wants them to go. So it's a little bit, tiny little bit manipulative in that sense, if that makes sense.
Interesting.
So I actually was wondering if he could orchestrate all this, but like I don't know how this goes in hand with his disappearance and stuff. And
yeah, he did die, so
yeah, it's asserted that he died.
Yeah.
So yeah, after a while, it kind of fell off the wayside. It was just, I guess, a thought that I had, but it was always in this realm of could it be, not that I'm actually pointing and say Klaus is doing it. That's the only thought that I had if you ask me to actually say something, but I don't know about the others.
Okay. So you don't think it could actually be the baby who lived through it?
My instinct is that no. But
I think that makes sense just because it's hard to find a candidate for that, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense to think it's actually someone exploiting that story. Someone that knows about it and is exploiting that for some goal. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But let's consider the baby did actually live through. Just putting that hypothesis to see, is that actually feasible? Could it actually be anyone? Could any one of the characters actually be that? And it can't be Battler because we are saying it's not Battler.
Yeah. At least I'm happy about that.
Yeah.
Even though they used his voice actor.
So it could be Goda, people are saying.
Yeah. Isn't Goda the most recent addition to the servant team? Like, what does he know about details of the lives of the past?
True. Yeah, he doesn't know anything.
If it were the servants, like Genji is the oldest. He maybe no. Is he the oldest or is Kumasawa the oldest? He's one of the oldest, right?
Yes.
He might know. Kumasawa would definitely know because in the story she's the one holding the baby, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Right. So if we're to suspect the servants, I would go mostly in the direction of the inner circle, eagle-wearing servants that either the older ones who know or like Shannon and Kanon could learn from them. There's this like weird red truth that Shano knows that autumn is Natsuhi's favorite season.
Yes.
I don't know if it's to throw us for a loop or if it's just like yet another red truth that doesn't really say anything that has a bearing. Yeah.
So you don't see any way it could actually be the baby lived and is one of the characters and is, being honest about what he's saying. Like, I am this person that, you don't think that that's possible?
In the way that it's presented, with a male voice.
Sure.
If I am to take it, I don't know. Because who else is there as a candidate? George?
Yeah. Right. Of course, then a little bit tougher. And this is a random baby that Kinzo had, right?
Again, yeah. Because Kinzo gets his hand on random babies.
Yeah, he does. Just Kinzo things. Yeah. It is true. The original visual novel didn't have voices.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. George, it seems strange that Eva would never see anything like about Eva or Hideyoshi talking about anything that would suggest that it could be George, right? Anyone else that it could be?
I don't know.
Okay, then Maybe not. Maybe, yeah, someone exploiting. I think that makes a lot of sense.
That's the avenue I would go down.
Okay.
Simply
Right.
because it's the more straightforward one. I think for me it feels that way, rather than having in some way magically the baby survived the fall. Okay, let's say the servant who died cushioned it, I don't know, somehow miraculously, but then someone had to have picked it up and
yes, exactly.
saved it, raised it, without Natsuhi knowing.
Exactly.
Natsuhi all this time believes that the baby died, and yeah,
Very true. And that is very soap opera. So by your rules, very unlikely.
yeah.
Okay.
But
Great.
not just the baby surviving itself, because maybe that separated from the rest could, I don't know, by some miracle the baby survived and someone picked it up and saved it. But then not just that, but then the baby learned about all of this and decided to take revenge and take advantage of all of these things, and then come to the island or whatever. Yes, I remember that part. She did say that. So yeah, no, I don't know. What this story did for me was it took me back to the whole Beatrice dying, but then there being a baby left that Beatrice tried to spin it in a magical sense as her body having been fabricated and her soul shoved back in it after she attempted to escape by leaving her flesh. Yes. Right, so it kind of took me to that, and it felt like it kind of like maybe could have fit something in there. Again, I mentioned this last time that the sex of the baby is not actually said explicitly. Like Kinzo comes and says child and raise this child as my grandchild, or baby, but it's never said it's male. So I thought, okay, could there be a connection there? But I don't know how to make it. I just don't believe that even if the baby survived, then it flows that it grew up, learned about this, decided to persecute Natsuhi about it, learned that her favorite season is autumn, or I mean, I don't know. Maybe that not, because it can be also faked in a sense, but like orchestrated all of this. That kind of like already goes in levels so high that I just doesn't feel. It feels much more straightforward to assume that someone knows and is taking advantage of it.
Yeah. Yes, I agree with everything. That'll make sense. All right. So to end, I would just like to say that we did a little bit of, we thought about a little bit about episode 1. I wanted to do that to show you a kind of a way to think about things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And for example, when we saw, okay, maybe it's canon, let's go back and put him there. And then we saw, okay, if it is canon, then Genji is in cahoots with them. And we can go like that, and follow things like that in that way. And that's a strategy you can use if you ever try to do something similar for the other ones. And that's it.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. It was a good exercise. Thank you. I appreciate it. Right. Thank you for your time and dedication. Thank you for chat for staying up so late. Dezo wants to throw something in, yes. I don't think it's real magic. I'm gonna say that straight up. I don't think it is. It has some sort of interpretation, just like the magical scenes. And I think this episode makes it more explicit than others that they were kind of fantasized, dreamed up, deluded by Natsuhi. So there is something going on there with the whole magic thing, but I don't know how to explain it in such a large scope, especially when almost all characters are involved in magical events. I don't know.
Do you think that if Battler wins, he can escape and return with his family out of the island, like they say that multiple times?
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna be that easy and convenient and oh, it was all a dream and now everybody goes and lives happily and drives into the sunset. Was Enja really time traveling or something? Poof. Yeah. Bye, Patch. Thanks so much for hanging out. Happy ending. All 19 survived. Yeah. I don't know what to make of the Enja thing. Like, I can follow the whole part of her actually, like, because it just goes back and forth in time all the time in that episode. But I can follow the part of her actually going to the island physically and possibly having that confrontation with Kasumi was her name. Her
your
aunt.
favorite character, yeah.
Yeah. I can follow that, but I don't know how that then flows or connects, or if even it's just completely disparate from the magical part. Like how does that? I don't know. I don't have an explanation, but maybe we can think about the way to methodically reason about it for another time, if that is something you want to go down.
There's a million things to think about. Yeah, we did a little plan for this, like with things we would talk about, because of course, I mean, there's a million things we could talk about. I want to have, to keep it relatively concise, I guess. Have limited things to consider, but yeah, that's definitely. I mean, that's one of my favorite parts about this is what Teso is talking about. It's one of the things that interests me more, but yeah, didn't have the time for.
I mean, I would love to figure something out about it too, because so far I liked that part the most out of everything that has happened in this novel. I just don't know how to explain it in logic. I think while I was experiencing, I was all heart and feeling, right? And now I have to backtrack a little bit and say, okay, how does that make sense? And how does it fit in the framework of everything? I haven't gone down that path so far.
All right, I'll hop off, go back to chat, and then.
All right. Thank you so much again. This is awesome. You are awesome.
Bye.
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 Yeah, all the thanks to Bancho. I don't feel like I did much. I was here. Yeah. All right. It is. I don't even know how to qualify this late. It is almost 25 hours for me in terms of counting midnight as 24. Yeah. 200 hour stream to review on previous stream. No. That's great. That's just yeah. Okay. Right. So we had this. This was great. Thank you again so much. We can have similar chats in the future as well. It gives me a bit of a reprieve and pause from all the intensity and all of the stuff being thrown at us and so on. And let's go with the plan that we discussed before. Banchos jumped in, and so let's do Thursday and Tuesday next week. Just little Discord streams with the Tsubasa episodes, just to chill and calm down from all of the madness. Then we have a Christmas stream on the 21st. Probably Stardew Valley. I will look into it, I promise. I'll let you know this weekend exactly what we're doing. Yeah, that will be it for 2023. And we start fresh on the 4th of January with episode 6. It sounds like a great plan. And right now, I'm gonna go sleep. I salute you all. I appreciate you for not only hanging out in the stream, but also for this lengthy conversation. It was super fun for me. I don't know how much I provided for you because I don't feel like I necessarily say super amazing things, but I'm trying. So if at least me trying counts for something, I'm doing my best. Yeah, take care, night, or good end to your day wherever you are in this beautiful, lovely planet, and I will see you again Thursday in Discord. Bye.